Last time, on Asmiliath adventures, we pick up as the mighty Leonian warrior crashes to the ground, defeated by the heroic Golden Hearts. With his final roar, the fiendish warriors that followed him attempted to flee, only to be met by the royal army pouring into the fort. After the gnolls had been dispatched, the party meets Sergeant Duran Pardo, who is leading the force to reclaim the Delaware Heights fort. As politely as possible, he guides the party from the fort, while expressing his gratitude for the distraction that they caused. Before leaving the area of the fort, Valorant scales the slopes down to the waterfall to retrieve the armor that they had found. Hiding within is the seemingly new companion, Sparky Warts. Now with all their loot acquired and the job complete, the Golden Hearts make their way back to Dragoncliff Mines. After departing from there, the party make their way to Corel, having been informed that Duke Braun's wife, Lady Kellen Gretor, has passed. Taking care of a few mundane mayor duties, Jarek is shown the location that Armos, the problematic doomsday profiteer, had been murdered, which reflected the way that Jarek had killed Mayor Hillthorn all those months ago. Finally, the party decide to make their way back to Kralin, in hopes of acquiring the reward for Hormtar's bounty and to investigate the mystery around Lady Kellen's death. Along the way, the Golden Hearts happen upon a fortune teller by the name of Werderlo the Wrinkled, who then proceeds to tell Jarek and Rolly their futures. Jarek is told that the companionship that drives him forward would ultimately lead to his death, and Rolly was told that his fate was intertwined with the destiny of thousands, but the details were left vague. We pick back up as the party awaken from their night spent with Werderlo the Wrinkled. So, everyone seemingly throughout the night, after kind of having the fortunes being told and settling in, you can't quite remember the hour or so leading up to actually falling asleep. You all wake up in like your tents or your bedrolls, your various sleeping locations, and kind of realize that you don't quite remember how you got there. Rolly, you specifically, kind of like hunched over on your side, your like hands are kind of like clasped to your chest a little bit, like you're kind of hugging yourself in your sleep, and as you pull your hands away from your chest, you realize there's something in your hands. And as you open up your hands, you see what appears to be, it looks like a small, maybe bone or wooden sculpted amulet with a piece of string tied around it like you would wear around your neck. And a crumpled up note that's in the other hand as you kind of like open up your cupped hands.
And I don't remember how I got here.
No.
Like this is passed out from a bender, don't remember, or?
It's more just like you're waking up from a nice deep slumber and you're trying to recall what got you here and you just can't quite figure that out. It's a little bit of confusion, more or less.
So is everyone around me? I mean...
Yeah, if you like, look around, Jarek's slumbering in his bedroll, you assume Valorant's in his tent. You see Adam's foot kind of sticking out of the back of the wagon where he sleeps, so, everything seems fine. It's early in the morning, it's maybe like 8 or 9, a little past dawn when you guys usually get up. So, but, birds are chirping, various sounds of nature kind of going on around you. Nothing is alarming or strange.
Well, I wouldn't be able to resist the note.
So if you go ahead and unroll that, kind of like flatten it out a little bit to read it a little better, it just simply states in very scratchy handwriting, "I am sorry your fortune was not sufficient. The wielder of this item no longer needs it. Werderlo."
A nice old lady. And then I look at the item. Anything I can discern about it?
So as it's kind of like close to your face at this point, as you're still kind of laying on the ground, you smell a distinct alcoholic smell coming from it. And you being kind of, a general reveler in, alcoholism, don't quite know how to put that properly. Kind of the generic smells of, the kind of common ales and wines around the land. This is a strange smelling ale, one that you haven't had an interaction with. It's fairly pleasant and it kind of like wafts into your nose, and it appears that the I guess amulet you would call it kind of is soaked in it and is like forever secreting the smell as you hold it in front of you.
Okay. So, it smells good to me then.
Yeah, it smells pretty good, yeah.
Then, yeah, it goes right around the neck, right there with the mother symbol.
Okay.
Absolutely. Is there anything that happens?
No. Okay.
And then, given the nature of the lady, and then there's an amulet, while everyone's doing their thing, I'd probably like to do a detect magic on it.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and that takes like 10 minutes, so we'll get back to you. What is everyone else doing this morning? Having awoken, not really remembering how you went to sleep.
You said that that we were like where we would expect to be, like in our tent, or
yeah, you would be sleeping in your tent. You know, wherever you were planning on sleeping, you would find yourself there.
I think that Valoran sort of frowning and hurriedly putting his things away to pack up and get on the road, sort of looking head on a swivel, looking toward the road.
You want to give me a perception check?
Yeah.
And so Thor, for all intents and purposes, when you're kind of separated from the group and come back, we can kind of say thematically that you're like out sleeping with Buffy, like in the woods, not far off. So, you know, as the morning kind of comes around, you would just kind of be strolling into this situation. Valorant, as you kind of like glance around, as you begin to pack things up, you know, getting ready to depart for the day, not a lot, like nothing kind of super out of the ordinary catches your eye. You do, after kind of just glancing around, looking up, looking down the road, you see a uniquely colored squirrel kind of chilling on a tree branch, maybe about like 15 feet up in the air, kind of just on the edge of the little clearing that the camp is set upon. You know, it's kind of just like chilling, eating on a little acorn, you know, not really showing anything too strange, but it has this like almost red, white, splotchy coloring on it that isn't a natural color for, you know, a squirrel that you would see around these parts. So this just kind of catches your eye ever so slightly as you're, you know, glancing around.
I'm gonna keep an eye out.
Okay.
Keep one eye on it as I continue to pack up stuff.
Okay. Thor, Jarek, what are you doing?
Is Buffy with me?
Yeah, if you're coming back into camp, Buffy would tag along with you at this point.
Okay. I imagine I would just stroll into camp. Kind of groggily observe what's happening. Does anybody look any different?
No, everyone appears the same. You got Sparky Warts and Adam who are in the cart. Every night, Adam kind of swaddles Sparky Wart into a blanket to kind of keep him out of trouble, and then, you know, Adam sleeps in the wagon. Adam, having like kind of heard Valorant getting up and getting ready, has woken up at this point, has begun kind of doing the normal process for preparing to travel yet again. But besides that, like Rolly's kind of like, I imagine, sat maybe like cross-legged on his bedroll, kind of obviously in the middle of something. You know, Jarek is still passed out for this moment, but Valorant's kind of packing up, so.
Yeah. I mean, if JD was the last one to wake up, I'd send maybe Carl and Buffy to go wake him up.
Okay. So Carl will kind of like hop down from your shoulder, kind of like fireman pole, slide down one of your fingers like onto the ground, and then you see him kind of like wrap his arm around one of the like bits of fur coming off Buffy, and then pretend to kind of guide him over, even though, you know, Buffy just kind of does whatever he wants. So Jarek, as you're kind of like still sleeping, maybe thinking about one of your daughters or your wife, hopefully not in the same way, you hear a kind of like snorting sound off to your left, and then eventually it's kind of like wet, nuzzling texture kind of like pushing into your ears slightly, kind of like shoving your face around.
Hella. It's too early for that. That's why we have 3 daughters. And he'd like nuzzle up into the fur, the wet nose, and just.
She's like, then you like feel a paw kind of like push you onto your front, like kind of onto your belly.
Ow. Oh, Buffy. And Jarek will just kind of groggily look around. And about what time of the morning is it?
It's like 8 in the morning right now.
Oh, overslept. Morning, guys.
That was gross.
What? What was gross?
I just never want to hear that come out. Nothing like that ever come out of you ever again.
Oh, did I fart in my sleep? I'm sorry. I can't stop those.
Oh boy. Are you ready? Get ready. Okay, we're going.
Yeah. Raleigh. Looking chipper this morning.
Not really.
So what you doing?
I'm busy for the moment trying to figure out what this thing is and show him my amulet. It smells delicious, but I'm trying to discern if it does anything other than smell.
So Rolly, after having concentrated on it, as you saw, Thor kind of come in and everyone going about the various business of the morning, you do get the understanding that it is magical, giving off a almost kind of like comforting, warm vibe. You aren't sure what it does at this point, but you are now certain that it has a magical effect.
Everyone, I have an announcement. I know my last experience with magical alcoholic implements did not work out so well, but it seems as if our guest left me a amulet that is magical and smells like alcohol, and as long as it's all right with everyone, I'm going to wear it now.
I would
Really?
I would reach into the pack. I guess JD's back and pull out the magic telescope.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I could have told you that.
I have a particular way of doing things, and I don't need you to tell me how to do the things I've been doing for longer than you've been alive.
Well, I wasn't telling you how to do things. I was just telling you that I could have told you it was magical.
Could have told you you're annoying, but I didn't.
But you did.
No, I said I could have told you that, but I didn't.
But I did tell you it was magical. I feel like we're going in circles here. JD, do your thing. Tell him what it... don't put it on and, become an alcoholic dragon again.
Well, that was Rolly. Rolly, I can identify that if you want. Give me about 10 minutes to take a piss and take a look at it, and there you go.
Yeah, I'm trying to identify the ale that, hold it under his nose. It smells strangely familiar.
Jared, give me a history check.
What's that?
I'm having Jared do me a history check.
I have some experience with alcohol.
Yeah, despite your occupation or your previous occupation, it is also very strange to you, this particular smell.
I'm not sure, Rolly. You want me to?
With my expertise in brewing, anything.
Give me a roll. Well, we'll see. Do a history check.
All right.
I believe in you. This is where the nat 20 would be the goal.
How about a 6?
Since the first time you smelled it, it seems to have gotten stranger, if that's possible.
Since I own Buffy, and Buffy's part of the forest, most... Okay.
Valor.
Smells more like your wife, Jarek.
Well, that's why I tasted it, but... Valoran, you've traveled a bit abroad.
And
Have you ever... I know you're more of a stronger spirits type of guy, but you ever smelled anything like this?
so he's like rolling up his tent and sort of stuffing, like aggressively stuffing things and wrapping them up and putting them away, and he sort of slings something over Belgrease's back and then huffs and comes close enough to be able to get a whiff.
Give me a history check. Nope, it's a very strange smell. Not even you, as your, the various parties and whatnot that you have attended, nothing of this flavor has crossed your path.
Valoran just shakes his head and says, "Can't help you," and goes back to his business.
All right, guys.
All right.
I'll smell it. Maybe I've had it.
Go for it, Thor. Give me a history check.
I travel all over this place.
That's perfect.
Yep.
You know what that smells like? It smells like the ale that what's her face, Marie. It smells like her ale. Actually, it smells like also.
Drink that ale?
Yes, of course I did. And it also smells like the ale from Lillinor, where Karen was. Smells a little bit like Susanna, whatever her name was, her ale. Martha, she had some pretty good. It kind of smells like that, a little bit less strong, And then Calamently, probably doesn't smell like hers. I don't remember.
Well, here, Rolly, why don't I just cast Identify on this thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take it off into the bushes to take a piss and identify at the same time.
Did Valoran go back to his tent?
He goes back to putting his stuff away, yeah.
I'd like to walk over next to Valoran and just a little bit lower voice for him and I. Everything okay this morning? Look as if something may have crawled up your codpiece.
The day has only just begun. Who can say whether it's okay?
Well, you can, obviously, and your actions seem to say it's not starting out okay.
It remains to be seen whether some other mystical bullshit will come marching down the road toward us.
Oh, indubitably it will. That's quite standard, really, for this group. I thought you may have figured that out by now.
And then we will certainly plant ourselves face first in it.
Well, I will leave the obvious joke aside about planting faces and things, punch him in the shoulder.
You mean the leg?
He just kind of...
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'll be a good day. Pat him on his butt and walk away.
So from like, I don't know if this is going to play on camera, from behind him, he's putting stuff away, and Rolly pats him on the butt, and he just goes...
So like back straight, sludge over.
Back straight for a second, and then just hunching back over to keep dealing with his belongings.
Okay. So, Jarek, as you return from relieving yourself and seeking out more information, you are made aware that, again, thematically I don't quite know how you would discern the name of things, but we're just going to go with it because it just doesn't make any sense. This would be called the Amulet of the Drunkard. This amulet smells of an old ale-stained wood. While wearing it, you regain 44 plus 4 hit points when you drink a pint of beer, ale, mead, or wine. Once the amulet has restored its hit points, it cannot do so again until the next day.
So, Jarek will be wiping the thing off on a little bit of his tunic and then hand it back over to Rolly. And, I heard the echoes from my whistles, and I can tell you it's the Amulet of the Drunkard. Sounds pretty badass. It'll heal you up once a day as long as you're drinking down your ale. So I definitely say keep a pint handy for any battle we run into.
Always a good policy. Typically, I try to go into battle a little half-crocked anyway, but maybe I'll save it for during.
Does it require
Quite to find that nice old lady. Well, put it on and just I'm gonna go sit down and just enjoy it, smell it. And it's early in the day.
Yeah.
Jarek,
Yeah.
let's test it out.
I really don't want to get hit with
Hit me, you fat
anything.
bastard.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's gonna do. Okay.
I'm spread open my belly hole and dog, I promise this isn't a bad thing. And kind of suck in the muscles of his gut.
As I see him doing that, I'm like,
Forth.
wait.
Shatter.
And shoot forth 2 eldritch blasts at him.
Okay.
Let's see if I
You're
can
not
actually
trying
get
to avoid these, right, Rolly?
No, I would. I'm gonna forego the dodge on those.
Yeah, so Jarek, you would hit, but you can roll if you want to.
1 damage for the first one and 10 damage for the second.
Okay.
Bloody idiot! I said hit me, not fucking cast on me. God.
Well, if I punched you, it probably would have healed you, Rolly. You know, I'm a little more jiggle than I am rock here.
All right, Adam.
He was kind of like just getting everything like tied down in the back of the wagon, getting the canvas kind of pulled down and squared away. Looks up. Yes.
Bring me my medicine.
Kind of like looks around a little confused, then like, drink.
Yes, my medicine.
Oh shit, okay. And he kind of like goes to the back of the wagon where he still has a bit of the Rabbit Foot's ale cask that you guys had been drinking from previously, and kind of like quickly grabs a tin cup, kind of gets a little out, kind of runs up to you holding it up.
Well, don't just stand there. Give me my medicine, and I open up my mouth.
Kind of just like looks around. Okay, and like reaches up to pour it down your mouth.
And does the amulet do its thing?
Yeah, it would do its thing. So you can go ahead and roll 4d4 and then add 4 to that, and you will heal for that amount of damage.
Please tell me it rolls 5, 4.
I 100% thought you meant 44, as in 4,
4d4.
That's what I thought you meant at first too, and I was like, nah, that's too broken. It's gotta be 4d4.
Ooh!
Yeah!
Wow! Holy shit!
You don't even heal the full!
Well, no, you heal 10, so you're down 1 HP. But yeah, as you go to take a swig, you feel the amulet kind of, it's between armor and you, so you don't get the full effect, but you feel it kind of glow a little bit with warmth. And then the bruises that were caused by Jarek's blast, you feel kind of like shrinking and subsiding, leaving just like the slightest hint of discoloration on your skin.
Forgive everything I thought about that old woman. Thought she was just a charlatan, really. Telling me things I already knew, but all is forgiven.
As you go to smell it, after it uses its magical ability, it no longer smells of ale.
How long?
Rolly,
How
I
often
promise.
did you say I could use this thing?
Once a day, but I promise I wiped it off, so it should only smell like the ale.
Okay, I'll try it again in the morning. Thank you, gentlemen. Quite illuminating.
Adam, like, with a few, like, dregs left of the ale, just like, well, is it time to go?
Yeah, let's go make some money. We'll collect money that we've technically already made.
So,
Tyler,
unless...
you, got everything packed up?
He mounts up of like when you ask him that and just sort of glares.
Who am I near?
Well,
I imagine you'd be near Adam and Jarek.
What the hell is wrong with the boy? It's like he's got two sticks up his ass already.
No, well, he didn't get to have the magic lady talk to him, so...
He didn't want the magic lady to talk to him.
Who doesn't want a magic lady to talk to them? That's just all bravado.
Yes, and I mean, quite the looker too. I mean, really.
Valoran, don't worry. We'll find you a magic lady at the Glistening Globe later on.
Please don't.
Would you prefer a magic man?
Adam kind of like
No.
reaches over and like kind of touches you on the shoulder, Rolly. He's like, let me show you. Let me show you. Good morning, my lord. Are you ready to depart? I have everything sorted for you, and I have all the horses dropped and ready and tethered to the wagon, and Sparky Wart should be ready to go. How did you sleep, sir?
Well enough.
Very good, my lord, very good. We shall make good pace, and we shall reach Kralin a little after noon. If we depart now, is that acceptable?
The sooner the better. Thank you, Talmian.
Of course, my lord, of course. And he like turns back to you, he goes, and then goes to head off towards the wagon. So, unless there's anything that you... Yep.
Oh, no, just say, well, all right.
So is there anything you guys need to do between here and Kralin? You guys will depart now. It'll be about a half day's travel, and then you will reach the familiar city.
Yes, there is
Okay.
something I need to do.
Okay.
There's actually two things I need to do. First, I need to talk to JD.
Okay.
Just like while we're walking.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm kind of like a weapon rack at this point. I just there's so many weapons. I'll pull out the double-headed Sam sword,
Mhm.
and just as we're walking, I'll just kind of like balance it by the point on my finger, you know, and then I'll JD.
Sure. You're gonna poke your finger.
I really wanted to see if I could like just raise my finger from the dead, you know, but it's not working. So I have this rapier now. It's quite literally useless to me. And you also have a rapier. It is also quite useless to you. But in the event of, you know, something actually killing you close to you, would you like to have this one instead of that one?
That's the ghost one, right?
Yes.
Does it talk to you?
I talk to it, but it never talks back. Plus I have this thing. I'll just whip out the
Yeah, so to kind of put that in perspective, there's no easy way to sheath that blade. So more or less, you probably just have it like strapped to your back. But it is like a 4 or 5 foot long blade, quote unquote, with the various gems sticking out of it. It's just kind of like hulking mass that would be rather cumbersome for like a kind of average sized man or potentially even Rolly. But for you, it's kind of on the larger end of what you can handle, Thor.
Yeah. And I mean, I talked to this thing now. I haven't named it yet. I was thinking like, something like Chardonnay or something like that.
You should call it the Candy Whacker. It looks like a festival treat or something. Like you took a log, rolled it in honey, and then rolled that in colored sugar crystals.
I like Chardonnay though. It's like a female name, I can talk to it, I can tell it all the things. I call it like the candy stick. That just sounds very different.
If you already have Jarek for confiding in a feminine figure, why do you need another one?
I have never talked to JD about anything that has to do with feelings, ever.
Now, Thor, that's not true. I remember
I suggest you shut up.
That was that one time, Thor.
No, JD.
I think Jarek would just kind of like give this light, how do I phrase this? Reassuring caress, like down the back of his arm and be like, Thor, it's okay. You opened up to me. And I ruined it, and I'm sorry.
No, I would like push it. Don't touch me. That always got way too weird. Do you want the rapier or not? It was really a yes or no question.
Yeah, sure. And do you know what? In honor of you naming your other sword a female name, I shall call it Stabitha.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Thank you.
You call it whatever you want.
And Jarek can go ahead and sheath it on his hip.
So you can add that to your inventory now. I will remove it.
So Stabitha and Chardonnay.
Yes.
Classy.
There's nothing greater, Thor, than a woman penetrating your enemies. That's just...
JD, every time I think you're redeemable, it just comes back, and it's like one of those things that you throw and you come back and you're like, oh no, maybe it won't come back this time. And then it does, and you're like, God dang it. It's still the same. Do you change? Have you changed? Do we know? I'm moving on.
Thor,
No, it's fine.
I've got 2 sets of clothing.
Okay. Oh, I'm moving on. I have other people.
So what was your second thing, Thor?
I need to talk to Valorant. Lord Valorant. So it would be probably like later on or before that I would kind of.
Those are the 2 options.
Well, oh yeah. I mean, I can do it at the same time. I could probably keep pace with him on his horse.
Well, yeah, he's not galloping, so yeah, you could.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying since it's tall and I have a long stride, stuff like that.
Everybody but Rolly should have a horse.
Oh, do we have horses?
Yeah, Thor never talks about a horse, so I just assume he just walks around.
I might. Yeah.
That's the easiest. His horse has the easiest job ever. Just follows the group around.
Carries my stuff.
Anyway.
Lord Val, Lauren.
He was actually sort of lost in thought, like kind of riding at the head of the group and sort of fidgeting with this piece of jewelry at his wrist, and doesn't seem to realize that you were talking to him at first, and then kind of looks over. Oh,
Yes.
it's you.
Yes, it's me. Hi, how you doing? So I've been thinking about this for a little bit, and
He sort of leans away.
okay, no, it's not weird, man. Don't make it weird. And I'll pull out Chardonnay again. I don't really think I deserve to have this.
All right.
I feel like you do.
I respect the gesture.
I mean, it's not a gesture. You literally went up to the dude and just killed him instantaneously while I sat there and I watched.
It was hardly instant, Thor. We conquered the fort together.
Yeah, I mean, I took on a bunch of people by myself and I killed all, people downstairs. But when we got upstairs, to the head honcho.
More importantly, it's not my most preferred weapon.
I guess I understand.
Yes, he's got the image to uphold there.
Why are you always here?
We're traveling together for months now. I've been asking myself that same question.
I thought you were
Why
on
am I
pony
here?
or something. They couldn't catch up. Okay. What's up, Rolly? How's it going?
I don't know. Just here. Always here.
Thor, the only one you leave out is me, as Jarrett calls back from about 20 yards behind.
You know what? I was just gonna say I appreciate that you helped me out get my shiny thing that I don't really deserve because I didn't kill the guy, but it's okay. We just have everybody here listening to it, so I don't know why I made it a personal thing. I should really just shout at you from like 30 feet away.
I'm sure that with your shiny new weapon, you will dispatch our next bounty.
Isn't our next bounty bounty? Isn't it like your guy?
Maybe.
Do we need to kill him? Are we killing him?
Not right away. Not necessarily. We'll see.
Slow kill.
I'll let you know.
Alright. Very well. Also, I can talk to your horse if you ever want me to do that. Just thought I could mention that to you at some point. I tried with Buffy, but I don't really know what's going on there still.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a skill I haven't mastered yet, but it's something that my mama taught me a long time ago. She was like, oh, you can do this, and then just never did it because, I never really had an animal to talk to because they all run away because I'm super big. But now I have animals to talk to.
You know what? Try it now.
Well,
I'm intrigued.
I can't try it. I have to be
You
silly.
can't perform under pressure. Just
No.
cuddle with the horse for a little
No,
bit.
that's not how it works. No, that's
No?
not how it works. I have to write some stuff on the ground. I have to say a couple of things in a language that probably none of you understand. And I have to do basically what Rolly did to figure out that his thing was magical, but there's no
Oh, all right.
telescope that can talk to your horse.
Oh, all right.
Maybe I'll do it when we camp next.
Very well.
Anyways, I thank you all for this group conversation.
You're welcome. Just one point. Valoran, what is your sword's name?
I don't don't carry a sword at the moment, Rolly.
Okay, out of character. What the fuck has he been?
He's a glaive.
A glaive.
Yep, sorry, whatever.
Oh,
Not a sword, your fucking stick. You know, the killy thing you've got. What's
it's called a
your name?
glaive. It's a glaive.
Exactly. My point exactly. And this is a hammer. A fucking hammer. A hammer. Whatever. But you need names, Jarek. Thor. Chardonnay. Stabatha.
It makes it more fun, Rolly.
It's murder. Sanctioned, albeit, but don't understand people sometimes.
It's a glaive. I use a glaive. And when
It's a big fucking glaive.
That's true.
You could name it BFG.
What about Slashly?
What about Gloria?
When word of our exploits travels widely enough, then someone will nickname it for me.
You got it, Valorant. I'll take care of it.
Very good, Jarek.
Okay. So as the conversation dies down, you guys continue to plod along the path to Kraylin. You go for a few more hours, and you eventually get to that main road that you guys have traveled frequently at this point, heading a little bit north towards the actual city itself. Getting over that kind of final crest of the hill to allow you to see the city proper. At this point, it's been almost a month since the siege of Kraylin. So some of the kind of like various damage that the wall had received and the like bits of evidence of the siege, you know, bits of scavenged siege equipment and like leftover tent flaps and that kind of thing have kind of been like cleaned up and put away and whatnot. So it's starting to appear a lot more as the Kraylin you had first seen on your adventures here. But you kind of start approaching the town, and as you get closer and closer, getting to the actual like main gate that you've traveled through, you see green garlands kind of draped over the battlements of the city wall. On the actual kind of like viney green drapings, there are white and black flowers kind of laced into them, kind of creating this very like dreary yet elegant kind of scene on the old kind of battlements. And you just continue to approach. The gate is kind of still covered by the general security that you've gone through before. A few guards kind of like waving people in, but you're still kind of in that main approach to the city itself.
Point of order real quick. I should have the old head of Wormtar in a blanket with me, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome.
Is there anything you guys are doing before you actually approach the city? Okay. So as you get closer and closer, Adam, who's kind of like taking in the scenery as you go, perhaps turns to Valoran, if you're close to the wagon, kind of gesturing up at the decorations on the battlements. My lord, Lord Valoran.
Yes.
It appears that we have arrived during the funeral. Usually the flowers in this arrangement is a signal that a funeral is taking place. It's a 3-day affair, when usually it's a noble woman or a noble man. So I don't quite know at what stage, but we might want to lower our energy, maybe?
That's prudent, Albion. I was thinking similarly. We'll want to pay our respects wherever the memorial is taking place.
Sounds good. Kind of like whips the wagon a bit more, kind of driving it forward, and you eventually get to the gate. none of the guards there are any that you recognize. You do see that there's maybe like 5 guards there. 3 of them are wearing the kind of traditional Grator colors, that light blue and dark blue that you're very familiar with. The other 2 are wearing this kind of dark gold and black coloring. Their equipment and their presence appearing a lot more kind of regal and maybe a bit pompous to some extent, as they're stood tall, you know, every aspect of the metal of their armor kind of gleaming in the kind of noon sunlight. As you all approach, they kind of like gesture down to you. What's your business here?
We have come to claim the reward for a wanted outlaw. And Jarek will pull forth the hopefully not completely rotted head.
It's a little rough at this point.
You just kind of hold it up.
Where'd the golden hearts, by the way?
Yeah, as you are pulling out the head, you see that 2 of the Grator-colored guards, kind of like who are murmuring to each other a little bit as you approach, they actually speak up. Oh, yes, that is the Golden Heart Company. Welcome back to Kraylin, Golden Hearts. What adventures were you on this time? Do tell.
Well, we sought our good companion Jeremy. I'm sure you've heard of him from the song, and then ventured forth to free Dragoncliff Mines once again from a terrible calamity that was about to befall it. Thanks to our brave, noble companion here, Valoran, we were able to smite the beast and get rid of the army that was potentially going to be encroaching upon the territory.
As you speak,
and we've come for the reward.
You see a look of recognition on one of the guards' faces, and he kind of like bumps the other one with his elbow. He's like, "Yes, the song. How did it go? Nobody can deny the Golden Heart saved the mine. Oh, yes, I heard that. I heard that at the tavern last week. That was excellent work. And he kind of like looks over at the guard that's dressed in the gold and black. He goes, they're fine. Get them through. He kind of like looks over at you, and as you all are kind of moving through, you hear him go, no one can deny Golden Heart saved the mine. And so like, yeah, you get through the gate.
Derek, was that yours? That
What,
tune?
my famous ballad known throughout the land? Oh, something I whipped up. Nothing. And like as he's saying that, he's just kind of preening and puffing up. And oh no, of course not. Yeah, no, yeah, a little something.
What? How did it get here ahead of us?
Well, I've been singing it from town to town for the past, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months.
Oh, it from the first time, not this time. Never mind.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I'm still working on this most recent adventure. I'm having the most difficult time rhyming with porridge, and I'm starting to think I might need to rework that entire stanza.
How important is the word porridge in the song, in the
What do
lyric?
we even do with porridge?
That too.
Well, I had some for breakfast the first morning. What?
You just writing a song about yourself?
No. You guys are there.
Uh-huh.
Forage. You can forage for porridge.
You're a fucking genius, Rowley, starts scribbling into his notebook.
Why would you help him?
Or courage. It's only a half rhyme, but at least it's applicable.
Lord Valoran, when did you start liking GD? Stop!
And then I'm reminded of the many porters in our life, and you could portage the porridge.
Let's go.
So as you guys begin to move down the main street of Kraylin, Kind of, I'm assuming, heading maybe towards the direction of Hightown. Don't quite know where you're heading at this point, but you do notice that the various like residential homes that are on this street, you see that a singular white and black rose have been like stapled or tied or nailed to each door of every residential building. You see that the majority of people are kind of dressed in meeker tones, where you've been through a couple times and seen, you know, a few different like yellows and reds and browns. You kind of see a lot more like whites and blacks and dark grays. There are still a few kind of outliers to that rule, but it gives the city this almost kind of uniform dreariness. Not really a sadness, but it's kind of like a lack of vibrancy. But yeah, where are you guys heading at this point?
From our time within the city, would it be expected that we can know maybe where a bulletin board or possibly a maybe a guard garrison would be?
Are you looking for the collection agency for the bounty?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you would. There's a kind of more barracksy kind of part of the town that's almost been like sectioned off for housing, you know, soldiers and town guard and that kind of thing. And there's an official collection agency building there that you could go to.
What side of the town is that on?
That would be kind of in the northeast of Lowtown.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I think we can collect our money over in Lowtown, and I don't know about you guys, but I would love to not bump into the Duke this time. I'm sure he has his hands full.
Yeah. I have one thing I want to do, but I just need to go visit the armory guy.
Yes, we could probably accomplish that without bothering the poor Duke at the moment. But that does bring up a good point. As a noble, should you give your condolences officially?
I will be. I can make your apologies.
Yes, that would be appropriate. I don't think I'd like to intrude any further on the Duke than I would have to. I've got nothing he needs to talk to me about right now.
I'll go with you. I mean, my thing's really quick.
Thor, you should probably just let them do their noble thing. They've got quite the coordinated dance. You should drink with me.
But I want to say hi to Duke. We're like best friends. I didn't know his wife, but best friends were there for each other in hard times.
Anybody like to explain this to the boy?
Thor, just make sure that you say you're sorry for his loss, and don't let the handshake linger too long.
Okay. Which hand should I shake with? Do I let him?
Well, this is it's a time of mourning, so you go in with your right hand, and then you gently cup his hand with your other hand at the same time. Make sure to get a nice little palm rub with your middle finger, and that's all you need.
Seems a little freaky, but okay.
If he doesn't reach out his hand to you, Thor, then you should probably refrain from attempting to touch the Duke.
No, yeah, I was gonna let him lead. You know, I was gonna play it by whatever he does. You know.
So if he offers his hand, then by all means, you can do exactly as Jarek advises.
Okay.
So are you guys splitting at this point? Two of you go into the bounty, two of you go into the Hightown?
I think we split the party.
Okay, we're out of combat. It's totally cool.
We've never split.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
Little
A
do
bunch
you
of
know,
funeral bandits hop from the alleyway.
you were framed for the murder of his wife.
Okay, so Jarek and Rolly, can I assume that you are going to the collection agency, and Thor and Valor, you're going to the Duke? Okay, we'll go ahead and go with Jarek and Rolly first. Kind of getting the head of Hormtar and heading up over there. As you are getting to the kind of like barracks section of the town, you see a very long line, and you're like, oh, that can't be for whatever we're going for. And as you're walking down it, you see a assortment of individuals. You see all different races and different kinds of dress, but the majority of them have some sort of like burlap sack or like weird, grotesque, like animal head kind of draped off of it. And as you finally get to the collection agency, kind of written in kind of elegant words up above the door, you realize that this long line that you've been passing through has been to the collections agency, and there are many adventuring mercenary groups ahead of you.
Oh. We should probably go back to the end of the line, Jarek. I don't think these are the sort of men that like to be cut in front of.
Wow, I didn't think they would be collecting so many bounties. I'd like to pick a adventure at random within the line.
Okay.
Preferably one that maybe has a big burlap bag.
Okay.
Be like, excuse me, sir. What is this line for? What are y'all? Is this for all different bounties, or was there something general that everyone is dropping off?
So as you pick out a tabaxi woman from the line and approach her, having a large burlap bag kind of strung over her shoulder that appears to be much larger than her physical form should be able to handle, but she's kind of handling it with ease, kind of looks over at you. You're looking for the collection agency?
Well, yes, we have a bounty to turn in, but I must wonder what all of you are doing here.
Well, I am looking to turn in my bounty. I've been here since 6 in the morning, so I suggest you go back.
Does the collection agency request this many bounties? I heard you're collecting yourself?
Okay. How else am I supposed to feed myself if I cannot turn in my bounty every morning?
What bounty do you collect daily?
She kind of like looks over at Rolly, kind of like eyeing you up and down. She's like, heh, and then goes to sling the bag over her shoulder and like opens it up to kind of like let the head plop out a little bit. And you see what looks to be the mixture of like a cow and a goldfish. There's these like weird horns coming out of the side of it and these kind of like loose, fat fish lips. There's like gills on the side of it as well, and it kind of like rolls out. A few like spare scales from the actual head kind of fall out of the bag and hit the ground. It's like, I go into the bay every morning and I kill myself a cowfish and I bring it to the collection agency so I can eat my meal come dinner time.
Why don't you just eat the cowfish and cut out the middleman?
Cowfish are toxic.
How
Okay.
toxic?
The line begins to shift a little bit, and she like looks at you like, I have my business to conclude. May you leave me in peace.
Go in peace.
And I'll guide Jarek to the end of the line.
That's worth following up on. Cowfish. Cowfish.
You know, I
You
would
know,
love to get more familiar with that.
I just thought of something. Courage rhymes with porridge. And so, in a way, does shrinkage.
Porridge, shrinkage. Well, I could say from my morning porridge did I gather such great courage. Rolly, you're onto something.
Right. So, anyway,
So as you guys begin to settle into the line, getting ready for a long wait, we'll hop back over to Valorant and Thor. I'm assuming, Valorant, are you riding Belgrease up, or are you guys going on foot?
I'll ride into the district, but when we get close to any ceremonial proceedings, then I'll dismount and find somewhere he can hang out.
Okay.
Also, as you procure, I would imagine it would be easy to find a black flower that I can procure.
Yeah, there are various kind of like temporary stalls set up throughout the city for buying white and black roses, so you could easily find that.
So I'll get a black flower to make a corsage of for myself.
Okay. That'd be like 5 copper.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll do the same, but I just buy the flower. I don't do anything with it.
Okay. So as you guys cross over the High Bridge to Hightown, very creative naming, by the way. Pat myself on the back. As you cross over the bridge, where previously you had seen a rather large chunk of it had been ripped down during the siege as you had crossed over it, and it had been loosely kind of reconstructed the last time you were here, the stonework is now actually being put into the scaffolding itself. So the bridge is like just near the end of its repair, but it's still, you're like sanctioned off to one side of it as you pass over it. But you get into Hightown itself and up towards the castle, and as you get a better look at the like old thrown together stonework that the castle has, you see these long, kind of like elegant, flowing in the wind collections of these black and white roses that are hanging from the various windows of the various heights of the castle, kind of like giving this almost like willow tree kind of look, with these kind of drapings of floral patterns kind of coming down towards the ground. But as you're approaching the main gate to the castle, you see, you know, kind of the general handful of guards that you normally do. And again, there are like 4 of those golden and black dressed individuals, and there's like 1 Gretor guard. This is the one that, Thor, you would recognize as the one that you've kind of like eyeballed each time that you've come into town. So as he sees you approaching, you see him go like and like watches you approach.
I'll just kind of bolster up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So as you approach, one of the gold and black guards kind of like is the one to kind of come up and talk to you, but in the background you see the Gretor guard kind of like eyeballing you kind of crazy from the distance. But the guard that approaches you kind of like looks at, you know, the two of you and kind of addresses Valorant, assuming he is the approachable one of the group. What is your business here at the castle?
Pay our respects, of course.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Lord Ethelvain and Thor of the Golden Hearts.
And kind of like looks back at the guard, who like quickly kind of gets rid of his crazy eyes and like kind of looks a little bit more like stalwart, like yeah, it's the Golden Hearts. They're friends with the Duke. They're fine. They're okay. And as like the black and gold guard kind of looks back and like, okay, Golden Hearts. The king is in town, so we do express that you please keep your manners to the forefront and don't try anything funny.
Valorant's eyes just move in their sockets in Thor's direction, and then he nods once and says, "Naturally."
Nothing funny. And I'll just have Carlsel.
So, just to give you some quick tidbits, Thor, you would know the king. I don't think you probably know specifics. Valorant, you would also know him. Probably the extent of information you would know is traditionally the kings of Giles' kingdom are not warlike, but are distinctly kind of the warrior type. They get a lot of their strength and their authority by being like ferocious warriors. This doesn't really translate to their military, but it's kind of just like their signal of power comes from being a very prowess type warrior. That was a horrible way of saying that, but it's fine. And so you know that his name is King Hunfor. He has been known during his reign to be kind of a breath of fresh air with the line of rulers that has been in Giles' kingdom for some time. He's kind of been clearing out the kind of underbelly and seedy operations that are operating in Giles, kind of like forcing the brigands and the bandits and the thieves like out into the countryside and out of the cities. So he's had, you know, a lot of support from the populace, but you know, that's kind of the gist you would know about him. But the guard kind of like waves his weapon to kind of let you guys pass through, and then putting you guys in the courtyard of Kraylin Castle.
As I pass by the one guard, Carl would be doing the like this, and then at the end he'd do that motion.
If you like look back, you see the guard like look at him and go. But you guys are now in the courtyard of Kraylin Castle.
So I would assume that there's something of a, maybe not a procession, but there's a flow to the visitors here that we could more or less follow.
So you would see that the large doors that open up kind of like the greeting great hall of Kraylin Castle are left open. And from your vantage point, you kind of see inside there is not a mob, but a very thick collection of people, all dressed in very elegant and presentable robes and dresses, and have like, you know, garments and whatnot kind of adorning their figure. Each of them having some sort of white or black rose on their person at some point. But they're all kind of milling about in smaller groups throughout the Great Hall. There's no real discernible like flow of visitors. It kind of just looks like everyone's kind of gathered there more or less.
It's can we, if I can't obviously make out where it is, then I will ask someone who appears to be working, let's say, if the body is lying in state somewhere.
Or do we see Clifford?
You do not see Clifford if you're still in the courtyard. One thing that I imagine you would know is that the culture in Giles' kingdom, once you are married to someone and they pass away, you kind of experience this with Lady Heather Kardish and the Roige Muzev arc. Once they are dead, their skeleton is kind of put under the protection of the husband, and it's expected of him to kind of like put them in a safe place or keep them, you know, nearby and then guard them in the afterlife. So that is at some point part of this kind of funeral event. But yeah, if you guys like step forward closer to the door, you would see various servants kind of moving around from one group to the other. One kind of passing by from one group to the other in front of you, Valor. If you want to call out to him, or yeah, we'll go with him. As you do, kind of asking, what kind of is what's going on right now? Like, the lady is found her final resting place. There are no longer any viewings. But if you would like to come in, we can certainly start getting you into the mix and on the list.
Yes, of course.
Can I get the name? And you see him kind of like fidgeting for a piece of parchment in his chest.
Lord Athelvane and Thor. Golden Hearts.
The Lord Athelvane and Thor. Golden Hearts. I will get you on the list, and you will see the Duke when it comes your turn.
Very well.
Thank you, my lord. And then he steps off. So back to Rolly and Jarek. You've now been in the line for maybe like 45 minutes, probably almost an hour at this point. There's now a small line kind of behind you. You've maybe moved like a city block at this point. You're maybe another hour or two away from getting into the collection agency. You have been hearing bits of conversation kind of going on around you as you wait. The various kind of adventurers and whatnot that are in the group being a little bit more freer with their words as they talk amongst their companions. One conversation that you overhear is about the funeral itself, that Lady Kellen, the whole event going on in Kraylin. What you've been able to kind of gather is she has killed herself. Hung herself in some way, shape, or form. It's unclear the details of that. Some of the groups saying that she hung herself from the highest tower. Some of them saying that she hung themselves on the four-post bed of the Duke. Various kind of rumors on how she did it, but there is kind of the agreed consensus that she killed herself by hanging.
Well,
Broly, I have to say we might need to at least send a gift to the Duke. I'm sure that Valorant can handle it. He's a noble. But, maybe you should say a prayer for her at the very least, so that her soul may find peace.
yes, of course. To be quite honest with you, I already had terrible business that I hope the Duke is okay, and in what capacity he can still think the young Lord Jarrell is handling it okay.
I think I can at least offer this to the memory of her. And I'd like to play a mournful song. I figured there's got to be some kind of folk song that is about, loss of a loved one or saying goodbye to the departed. And just start playing that without being boisterous, but well heard. He's trying to get heard. And
Let me hold that
Like,
head
well-
for you while you're doing that. Yeah.
here. Really, maybe if you offer some prayers while I do this, they might put some money in my hat.
I'm not
And
going to turn the death of a poor woman and my god into your money-making scheme. Now sing or shut up, but those are your options. Yes.
and he'll go ahead and do his thing.
Quick question for you, Jarek. Are you wearing the mask at all times, or do you kind of have it on your person?
It is currently strapped to my face. As I understood, I was going to engage, attune to it. I do not believe I have it within inventory at the moment,
Yeah,
but
I was just asking
that
how you
was
had
the
it.
plan.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a performance check. Okay. So yeah, you begin kind of starting slow and soft. The conversations around you kind of beating out the attention. You continue to play. There are various other parts of the city that are kind of having gatherings and festivals. Might not be the right term, but there is kind of somber music drifting from various parts of the city, so you're just kind of add to that as you continue to play. No one asking you to stop, kind of at least enjoying something to listen to as they wait. We will hop back over to Thor and Valoran. So you guys have been kind of just left to wander in the Great Hall as you wait your turn to see the Duke.
I guess I'll look around the crowd to see. I don't expect that there will be anybody I recognize, but it's worth seeing.
Give me a perception check. No, give me an investigation check.
Can I? Okay.
Do you want to assist, Thor?
I mean, I was gonna look myself to see if I recognize anybody, but
Give me a perception check, Thor.
okay.
Okay. So as you guys are kind of milling about, the dress of this individual doesn't stand out to you because he is wearing this kind of dark gray and silver outfit. He's kind of stood in the corner. He has a cup of wine to his lips, but he kind of keeps staring at you and Valor. It's kind of hard to tell which, as he's slowly kind of sipping from the cup, keeping his eyes over the rim. He's been kind of consistently looking at you since you came in.
And do I recognize him?
You do not recognize him. You just see that he's kind of watching you aggressively.
Okay. Lord Valoran, I'm gonna say this. Don't be that person that when I say, hey, you see this person, don't immediately look at them.
I understand.
There's a man about to our. Oh, I don't know time. He's diagonally to the right in front of us. He has a cup of wine and he is staring at us pretty hard. And I'll have. I imagine we're like almost shoulder to shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have Carl just like walk across and kind of direct it in his face.
Okay.
If there's a servant sort of walking around with refreshments, then I'll kind of grab a cup and use that as my opportunity to look that direction.
Okay, so as you kind of slyly find a way to glance over that direction, just kind of getting a quick glimpse, you see the face. It's this kind of slender, gaunt, half-elf face. It's kind of hard to tell exact details from the distance and the time frame, but it seems familiar to you. The thing that does stand out is that kind of dark gray and silver uniform that you see him in, adorned right on the kind of upper part of his chest, is a house sigil that you recognize as the Solomon symbol, the Solomon house. It is 3 ravens stacked on top of each other on a dark gray and silver background. So you catch that during your glimpse, and that kind of sets off alarm bells in your head.
But it doesn't look like Solomon himself?
No.
No. Okay. So sort of behind his glass, Valoran mutters, "Fire and damnation."
Is it a demon? Who is that?
You remember the Count, the one that we were talking about maybe having to kill?
Yeah, that guy, yeah.
He works for him. Or might be related to him, I'm not sure. He's from his house.
Okay.
Let's say that.
Yeah, they live together, got it. Do we need to kill him, or do you want to talk to him?
Killing him wouldn't solve anything.
It's true, we don't want to hold another funeral at a funeral.
I don't even know why I'm talking about this with you. Point being, it's bad enough that he's seen me. He'll report where we are, what we're doing.
Well, he doesn't necessarily know what we're doing, just knows where we are.
Maybe it's nothing, maybe it doesn't really matter, but I prefer to keep that velvet snake in the dark as much as possible.
Okay. I'll have Carl keep an eye on him for us.
Good.
Okay. So hopping back over to Jarek and Rolly.
You okay,
Jarek.
Not gonna touch it.
You're not going to touch the velvet snake? Come on, Rolly.
It's so smooth, though.
Let's just keep the velvet snake in the dark.
So anyway, Jarek, as you kind of like got into the deeper part of your performance, the like kind of immediate groups around you kind of started paying more attention to your performance. Eventually, the one in front of you, this kind of like burly half-orc, muscular adventurer that kind of almost reminds you of Thor to some extent. You kind of see like single tear rolling down his cheek as he's listening, just like, go ahead. Oh, please.
I don't want to impose, but of course, yes, thank you so much.
I have never heard a more beautiful voice in all the land.
Just to clarify here, I am wearing the mask. Its ability to make people see themselves, was that an activated ability?
Yes,
or is that a consistent?
You activate it, and then you have 10 minutes that is active.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, I always appreciate good music and wish to share it. Let any of your friends know that the Golden Hearts are in town for the day. We will likely be at the
Sliver of the Moon.
Sliver of the Moon. Later on tonight, if you wish for any more rousing tunes.
Oh yes, I tell everyone I will see you there.
And thank you so much for your spot in line. And am I able to catch the eye of the next person in line?
I mean, sure, yeah, they're kind of listening to the transaction because they have nothing better to do.
And just kind of give them a little eye raise and
With the mask on?
with the mask on.
So they just see you kind of looking at them with the mask. Just kind of like cock their head to the side.
Little chin jut. And see if I can, through non-verbal cues, see if I can get them to give me their place in line.
Give me a persuasion attempt. Let me roll for him. We'll see how this goes. Okay.
Now hold on, because it's a fresh day, and Jarek is feeling lucky.
Mm. Okay. You, as you step forward and kind of give them a masked look, you see this, kind of like old, haggard kind of, human, gray hair, kind of like tilt his head to the side, giving this like, what the fuck are you looking at look? And then as you go to like kind of shimmy towards him, he's like, nah, you better park your ass there, partner. And then as you like kind of give him a little bit more of like a wiggle, he kind of like looks around at his companions and they're like, sorry, all right, fucking weirdo, go for it. And kind of like lets you go ahead of him.
You're a saint, thank you. Rolly, come on.
Yep. Thank you very much. Quite a gentleman.
So you guys
if
are
only all souls. Oh,
you guys are about.
Only all souls.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
If only all
anyway,
souls
I
were
would-
so generous. Broadcast that as far forward as I can.
We'll leave that be for now. But you guys are like just about nearing the door to the collection agency at this point. So you're like on the home stretch, and we'll hop back to Thor and Valoran. So as you guys are kind of milling about, you see the servants kind of moving from one group to the other, kind of like murmuring to them, and then you're seeing them kind of disappear back to that kind of the throne room, that checkered floor, like giant rainbow ornate window room that you guys had met the Duke in previously. They keep getting led over to that direction. Eventually, it's been about like 30 minutes you guys have been waiting in this room. Thor, as you have Carl watching the kind of mysterious figure in the corner, at some point you feel Carl kind of like tapping the back of your head, like repeatedly, kind of like almost punching it aggressively.
What is it, Carl? You know you can talk to me.
Look.
I'll just like turn around.
So as you kind of like glance over your shoulder, you see that like kind of not a smug expression, but kind of this like idly sly smile is on the guy's face, and he's kind of approaching you, holding the wine glass kind of like daintily, moving across the room towards you.
What Valorant? He's coming.
Without turning around or looking over, dude just sort of takes a deep breath through his nose, takes a drink from his glass.
So he continues to approach, kind of moving around the small groups between you. As he's maybe about 10 feet away, you see that he's like just about to open his mouth to speak. And as he does so, a servant kind of taps him on the shoulder, like, Sir Alam? Yes? The Duke will see you now. And he kind of like turns and looks over at Thor, kind of like gives him a little head nod, and then moves away with the servant.
Is there a bell rung for me?
So if you heard Sir Alam, you would quickly think back to the various people that you know function within the Solomon household. And then you remember Zilnan Alam is kind of like the right-hand man of Lord Solomon. He's the guy who like handles the paperwork, almost like the Clifford for Duke Braun. Kind of like the face that you would meet if you went to the castle. So that is kind of the figure that you remember as you hear that name.
He's like the steward.
Yeah.
Do I think that he would be here on his own, or that he would be here if Solomon was not?
he is very much Lord Solomon's like lapdog. He does not do anything without Lord Solomon's like approval or behest. He doesn't necessarily always function right next to him, so he could reasonably be here by himself, but you don't quite know.
Okay. All right. I'll just keep an eye out for those colors as we hang around this space on anybody else.
Anything you guys want to do before we hop back to Jarek and Rolly? Okay. Yep.
I would just ask who's that guy? What's his name? Olive?
Sir Olam. He is Salamon's accountant. Do you know that word?
Yeah, he likes to count things.
The Salamon's things, yes.
Yeah. Mm. Okay. So he's very good with numbers. Okay.
Probably, yes.
Does he have any weaknesses that we need to exploit that you know of?
Nothing that's pertinent to us now.
Okay.
Imagine he's quite weak to a sword if it comes to it.
Yeah, most people are.
Indeed.
Okay. I think he wanted to talk to you, but should we move now? Do we relocate? Or do we just...
There's no point. As long as we are in Kraylin, if he wants to find us, he will.
Okay, fair enough.
So, hopping back to Jarek and Rolly, you have finally made it to the desk. You've probably been in this line for 3 or 4 hours at this point. It's getting kind of almost later into the afternoon. You're tired, your legs hurt. This has just been not a fantastic experience, but you finally make it into the room where it's kind of like a doctor's waiting room is the generic kind of thing you see around you. You see this not elderly, middle-aged dwarven female sat behind this large desk, a huge amount of papers kind of splayed all over the place, and this giant pile of burlap sacks off in the corner behind her. And as you finally get your turn to approach, you guys step forward, and without even looking up from her paperwork, she's like, "We welcome you to the Kraylin's Collection Agency for all of your adventuring and bounty hunting needs. We appreciate your patronage and you choosing Kraylin City for your disposal of your bounty. Please state the bounty, the company that you are with, and the rate that has been agreed upon."
I'll pull
the Golden Hearts, and we were contracted to catch this fish. And I take the sack from Jarek and I pull out the head. It's a cowfish.
No,
You gotta, like,
Rolly. Excuse my friend. And he'll pull out the wanted poster that we had with Hormtar's reward and everything on it. And we have come to collect the bounty on this outlaw, and we have our verifiable proof and can offer further proof if necessary.
So as you bring out the paper, she kind of looks it over, kind of like, okay, sets it down, and then she like leans back in her chair, kind of on like 2 legs, and like behind her goes, "Homta the Mutilated," and then you see a paper fly from a back room, kind of swirling through the air, and then she like reaches up and grabs it, bringing it down. She looks it over. "Okay, please describe to me the event that took place where you dispatched the bounty and the physical description of the target in question."
Rolly, put the head up on the desk.
Take the head and
Kind of like looks down at it, looks back at you. "Sarah, please, can you describe to me the target in question and how you dispatched him?"
We poked him until he died.
You see her
There were
begin to like
many-
write on a piece of paper, like it's halfway through. And kind of just like looks up with a tired face. You hear the adventurers kind of behind you all like groan collectively, like, "Come on, man, shit or get off the pot."
Fine. We infiltrated a kingdom fort that was held by Horumtar the Mutilated. Through great finesse and stealth, we were able to successfully catch him unawares. Our party consisted of a barbarian and a paladin as well. They were able to, what's the colloquial term, beat the shit out of him. And after we severed his head, we brought it back to you, minus the pelt, of course, because it was very fuzzy.
She like writes down a bunch of stuff as you're speaking. Eventually, like getting to the end of your description, she's like, "And can you please describe the physical description of the target in question?"
Well, the maw
Look like
was...
this, only taller. Much taller at the time.
Kind of looks over at Rolly, shakes her head, looks over at Jarek. "Please, sir, there is a line."
No, yeah. No, his maw was cocked halfway, and scars across. And he had a great big sword that was multicolored jewels, shards of something.
Can you please state the names of the group that took him on so that I can put them in the records?
Yes, the Golden Hearts, Master Roly Halfbeard, Valiant Warrior Thor Horatius Fireheart, our noble companion Lord Valoran Athelvain, and myself, the renowned bard Jarek Dissel.
She like writes down all the names, distinctly skipping over the flourish titles that you give them. Eventually reaching the end, she goes, "So the rate that you were looking to receive is 1,500?
Oh, I thought it was 15,000. I'll pick up the paper and mime, looking at it as though it is supposed to say 15,000.
She looks down, looks back up. "The rate was 1,500. Please confirm so I can move on."
It was quite a tough battle. Are you sure you can't afford...
The rate is confirmed at 1,500, and like writes a little bit.
I got a cowfish to turn in.
So then she kind of like looks up at you. She goes, "Where will you be staying tonight? We will deliver the rate to you."
Sliver of the moon.
"Sliver of the moon. The rate will be delivered to you by the end of tonight. If not, you may come back to the line and express your grievance. Thank you."
Oh, before we go, Roly, did you want to ask her about the thing?
Yes, please tell us about the cowfish. Why do so many people here with them? And what is the rate?
She looks at you.
And why
looks
are
at,
you so monotone?
looks at the line. Just, "If I tell you about the cowfish, will you please leave?"
Yes, I will leave.
The cowfish is sought after for its distinctly toxic blood that is used in some medical processes that is above my pay rate. Knowledge. Words are difficult. A head for a cowfish is about 10 gold apiece. If you are interested in turning in a cow head or a cowfish head, please return to the back of the line and I will process your request when you return.
Thank you, and for your generosity and lively spirit, and I give her a nice copper piece. That one I found. I found that one heads up. It means good luck for you.
Looks down at the copper and just looks back up at you. "Thank you for choosing Kralen's Collections Agency. Have a wondrous day."
So,
Roly.
yeah.
Well, the other two are messing around with all those pretentious noble people, do you want to go down to the harbor?
Yes, there's quite a lot of taverns there, I'd imagine. Feeling quite thirsty. And I did realize that if you modulate your tone a bit, you can rhyme underage with porridge. Like, you just let it flow like underage. It's quite the possibility.
Underage. But there was no one underage. Benny, I don't know how long he's been around.
Yes, but any good story is only really 8% truth.
Cacao, the new cacao.
I like those statistics, yes. No, scribble just 8% true, 92% lies.
So you guys are heading down to the harbor?
Yeah. See if
Are
we
you
can
heading...
catch it.
Yeah, are you guys doing anything particular while you're down there?
Yeah, I want
You
You
want to
know-
try it?
We could combine the two if there was a way to figure out if there's a way to maybe make it an afternoon out of it, get some gear, fish, if it's a fish you can fish for, and drink a little bit.
So you want to drink, get fishing equipment, and then try and fish for a cowfish?
Is that how these people catch these things?
It is specialized fishing equipment. It's not just like a normal fishing rod.
We'll look into that while also obtaining some alcohol. Sound good, Jared?
I think drink imply people for information is a genius idea.
Okay. Back to Thor and Valoran. As you see a bunch more of the guests kind of moving in and out, you never actually witness the Sir Ollum coming out of the room of which you saw him disappear to discuss with the Duke. Eventually, after like another hour or so of waiting, drinking wine, kind of making small talk, kind of just waiting around more or less, you are finally approached by a servant, kind of like tapping you on the shoulder. "I'm going to murder this song. Please go away." A servant kind of taps you on the shoulder. Lord Athelvane, the Duke will see you now.
Very good.
Okay. So you and Thor are brought into the kind of throne room of Castle Kraylin, that large vaulted ceiling, the black and white kind of tiled, polished floor, leading to the kind of raised throne area with these giant stained glass, like rainbow-looking windows behind the two figures that are sat up there. You see that, and there, traditionally when you came back here last time, there was like one large seat and a few smaller seats kind of up on the raised platform. In the larger throne, you see what appears to be like a massive humanoid figure, and he is dressed in this gold shining armor that seems to be polished and decorated out the wazoo. There is a like nice fine black sash that like goes over the front of him with bits of like golden embroidery kind of covering up the rest of the dark color. He's kind of sat leaned back in the chair, and you see a kind of shiny, again kind of overly done, elegant golden crown on his head. From where you can see him at this point, kind of far off in the room, he appears to have kind of like shoulder-length brown hair, kind of like a middle-aged man, kind of a slightly weathered face. He has this kind of look of, I don't know, like nothing, just kind of like an expressionless kind of dull look as he's watching you approach. Next to him is the familiar yet strange figure of Duke Braun. Since last time you saw him, he appears to have shrunk. Either it's due to the fact that he's kind of hunched over all the time, or his actual figure has actually begun to shrink. He appears more like smaller, not grotesque, but almost like gremlin-like, as he's kind of like hunched deep into this kind of curled stance, like kind of grabbing the cane that he walks with both hands and kind of leaning on that more than he should. His eyes are kind of sunken in these like dark black bags that stare out of you from the darkness as you approach. That is kind of waiting for you to close the distance.
So I'll approach with, at this point, the ceremony, so to speak, is begun, and so sort of walking, evenly, purposefully, stock straight toward the thrones, toward the seats. And I apologize if you said this already or not. I'm assuming that I recognize one of these figures as the King of Giles.
Yeah, King Hunfor? Yeah, Hunfor.
Yeah. So when we get the right distance away, I will perform the customary sort of bow toward the king, and kind of glance over to make sure Thor is doing it too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm essentially imitating you, just like one step behind you.
Okay.
So I do that and say, Your Majesty, Duke Braun, I bring you the condolences of all the Golden Hearts, as well as my personal sorrow for your loss.
As you bow, you see the king's head kind of like bow slightly. As you are closer, and you kind of get another look as you kind of bring your eyes back up, you see that the crown that he's wearing is kind of familiar. It's this, kind of golden band that wraps around his head, a few kind of spiked decorating ornaments kind of coming off of it. But on the four sides, like in the north, south, east, west of the crown, you see kind of square parts of it have been filled with stained glass imagery that quickly reminds you of the crown of memories that you have. But this one's kind of like a souped up version of that. So you see him kind of nod his head down to you as you respectfully bow. Duke Braun kind of doing the same. Once you finish speaking, Duke Braun clears his throat, kind of looks around. Lord Valor and I appreciate your condolences and your return here to Castle Kraylin, and Thor, I welcome you back as well. My king, this is the Golden Hearts, the mercenary band that I was telling you about when you arrived. They have been essential in assisting me the past few months. The king kind of looks at him, looks over at you, nods his head at you again kind of gracefully, and then kind of like resigns himself from the conversation. Duke Braun kind of turning back to you. It's a bit off topic, but helps me clear my head. How was your adventure up into the Hunter's Ridge Mountains?
Successful.
Well, I am happy to hear. Thor, did you acquire your cool weapon?
And I will just like one-handed undo the. Yeah, it's pretty cool, not gonna lie. But I don't know that I should be talking about, But yes, I got it. It wasn't very easy, but worth it.
He kind of nods, and then he kind of gets a look of like almost kind of remembering something distant, and kind of turns to Valor and, Lord Valoran, a friend of yours came to visit earlier today. Seems that you might have some trouble in your immediate future.
I began to suspect as much. I believe that my friend and I met outside in the reception area, although we did not speak just yet.
Well, I told him that I would send you down into the cellar. He is waiting for you there, but I imagine he'll just be left waiting for some time.
I see. Well, thank you for letting me know.
Well, I do appreciate you offering your condolences, and I am very grateful to hear of your success. But I think that there is not much else for us to discuss. I do have many visitors to attend to.
I understand. Duke Braun, Your Majesty. And then sort of backing away a handful of steps before turning to leave.
Yeah, I'll do the same. I'll be Duke Braun, Your Majesty, and then Carl will bow as well.
Okay, so they kind of give you like a respectful head bow as you turn and exit the throne room.
As we're like walking out, almost to the point where they could probably hear, I'll be like, Lord Valorant, that guy's so freaking big.
Well, he eats like a king.
I mean, but he's like, jacked. Have you ever met him before? I've never seen him before.
I know of him, but I have not personally met the king.
Well, should we go to the cellar, or do we just lock the cellar, or do we send Sparky down there?
That comment from Braun seemed a rather obvious hint to stay away. Now I think we just go about our day.
I mean, I can go down there and talk to him. I don't even know him, so he doesn't even know me.
All right, but don't mention me.
Okay.
Okay. We will pick back up with that conversation after our 10-minute break. So, we'll hop back over to Jarek and Rolly real quick. You guys are going around to taverns and, I guess, bars down at the port, trying to figure out more information about the cowfish and drinking.
Rolly, before we go into this next one, I have a plan.
Nothing can go wrong with that. Let's hear it.
If you can ply people with drinks, I can keep them entertained with song, and then as we ask them questions, they'll be in a better mood to tell us everything they know.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, Jarek, go ahead and give me a performance check, and Rolly, go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Now, does that have anything to do with my... let me see here. I know that some alcohol-related stuff...
We'll give you, like, charisma modifiers?
Yeah. Trying to see.
Jarek, are you singing that stupid song that you sent?
I feel personally attacked by that statement, of course.
Okay.
Okay.
You've already looking for it, Rolly?
Scrolling down here, not finding it, so that's fine. All right, persuasion?
Yep. Do persuasion with advantage because of Jarek's roll.
Well, a 7 plus a 13 equals 20.
Okie dokie. So as you guys move into one of the last taverns on your stop, it's now very deep into the afternoon, almost evening at this point. So a lot of the kind of like, again, festivities isn't the right word, but the activities around the funeral event have begun to die down. People kind of start moving towards taverns or their homes to kind of like wind down for the evening. A bunch of, sailor type, like deckhands, fishermen are kind of gathered in this tavern. Jarek begins to break out into song, again, easily kind of, pulling in the attention of the crowd, kind of like getting them enthralled in his handiwork. As he continues to kind of play on the kind of elegant red and golden loot that he was gifted not so long ago. And as everyone's kind of like paying attention to him, he's kind of like almost subconsciously slipping in little like hints and jabs of like I don't know how you would refer to a cowfish slyly, but we'll let the imagination take that one in. As Rolly kind of like, as everyone's paying attention, he's like kind of bumping shoulders with people moving around the room, kind of like trying to get a little bit of info on the down low. After the kind of merriment and the gathering that you guys go through, you would learn that a cowfish is a rather large animal. It's almost more of a salamander kind of thing versus like an actual fish. It does have gills and whatnot, so it's able to breathe underwater and function underwater, but it has like 4 stubby legs with like hard hooves on them that it uses to dig into the sand and the earth to kind of burrow and hide. It's a nocturnal animal, so it hides during the day beneath the earth and then comes out at night. It will then occasionally find its way onto like the shallow parts of the shore to graze on whatever vegetation it can find and then return back to the water for the day. The general size of them is they're maybe like 2 or 3 feet long. They probably weigh 60, 70, 80 pounds in that range. And they have like a kind of toxic saliva that come out of them.
So, Jarek, I found out that these little buggers, they sleep during the day underground.
That's not convenient.
No, actually. Instead of fishing for them at night when they're prowling about and spitting their poison spit stuff, that, we should get some dynamite and blow up where they're sleeping.
Rolly, I love the plan, I do. Do you know where we can find some? I'm fairly certain that wouldn't be prominent in a harbor town.
Why wouldn't it be? It's a harbor. All manner of goods come through here.
That's a good point. What do you think next? A craftsman's quarters, or possibly maybe go check out some blacksmiths?
Don't think the blacksmiths would have it. Yes, but perhaps just start with the local, it's got to be some sort of guilds around here for craftsmen, and if they don't deal with it personally, they would know who did.
Quick point of order, it is late in the afternoon, so it might be difficult to find, shops and guilds and public buildings that are open.
I mean, we'll have all day tomorrow to do this. I mean, obviously we're not going to be fighting anything tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I can just shatter. I mean, that's, as you've seen, it has a pretty good radius. It does a decent amount of damage. I was able to collapse the rock wall over in that haunted cave.
Yes, that's my point, is however we do it, we should fish for them during the day when we can all see what the hell we're doing. They're dormant, not so dangerous. And then we bring back the liquefied bits and easy money.
Oh, well, do you want to grab the guys before then, or do you think we can handle this on our own?
Well, it's getting a bit late. Let's probably best to join up with them.
Ah, well, to the sliver of the moon, I suppose.
Okay, so you guys are heading off in that direction?
Was I able to get any tips or coinage into my hat during that performance, by the way? Just,
1 sec. You got 1 silver piece, Jarek.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Roll a 1.
With
Yes.
a 29 roll, and man, I'm proud. Hey, roll higher next time, Jarek.
Dude, when I roll, all ones. Just expect all ones. Anyway, back to Thor and Valorant. So Thor, you are going down to the cellar to address Sir Alum.
Yeah, do I have to be led there, or do I just like? Am I just?
You would probably have to be led there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're gonna ask a servant and be guided down there.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I don't know how like the cellar looks, but whenever we get to that point, I do have an entry plan.
Okay. Any wise words from Valorant before you leave him, or you good to go?
I got don't mention me.
That's really it.
Okay.
Otherwise, Thor can do what Thor does. I can deny it all.
Okay. So you're led down. It's a staircase with a few different turns in it, but eventually you're kind of under the castle. There's a few hallways you pass through, but eventually there's like an old wooden door that leads into the cellar. The room, as like the door is open and you see into it, one wall is like completely lined with like clay and glass bottles, which you assume would be, you know, wine or something of the similar sort. Oh, so gassy. One second. One wall to like the left is a lot of like thick oak and mahogany barrels. Probably not mahogany, but we'll go for it. You see like various, you know, implements of storing ale and wine and things of that nature. There's a small table in the center of the room with a few kind of stools surrounding it, and that is where Sir Alum is sat, kind of still favoring that little bit of wine that he had in his cup when you initially saw him.
So, as I enter, is there like a servant still with me, or did they just like open the door?
They kind of like open the door and kind of like bow their head, letting you like go in.
Okay. Then I will take Carl off of my shoulder, and I will just be talking to him. And I will just say, now Carl, I told you, JD said there was like some pretty good wine in here. So, I don't remember where he said, but we can look around. And I'll just start walking in with Carl, kind of just going like this.
Okay. As you move in, you see the figure at the table, which you can now get a better look of. He is a rather old-appearing half-elf. You can kind of see the pointed nubs of his ears poking out from his hair. His hair is just kind of like dark, almost slate gray that doesn't quite seem to be a natural color, but it kind of like flows down to about his midsection. He has a little bit of stubble going on. He has these like almost kind of orange tinted eyes. It almost kind of reminds you of like a slowly burning fireplace. It's like a smoldering orange is kind of the right description for it. But he has like this cool gaze on his face, almost kind of like a relaxed posture, still holding the cup. As you walk in, you just see his head kind of follow your movements, not addressing you or saying anything, just kind of waiting to see what happens.
Yeah. So I will like almost basically just walk around him as if like I don't recognize him, look through the various wines. I'll just pick one at random.
Okay.
Are they like bottles, or do I have to fill up a cup? I don't know how.
No, like there's like clay and glass bottles and like a wine rack that you could pick from.
And then I will pick one up, and then I will show it to Carl, and then I will say, "Is this the one? Does it look right to you?" And he'll just kind of hold up his hand and read, even though neither of us could read.
Okay. Still unsure of what's going on in front of him. He just kind of is watching this whole process pan out.
Okay. And then I'll uncork it, and I'll take a swig.
Okay.
And then I'll turn, and I will say, "So how are you doing?"
He like sees you take a swig. He gets this kind of almost like, "How dare you?" kind of look on his face. And as you like turn to address him, he like has a semi-confused look, but kind of like he has a resting smirk face. It's kind of like what he gets back to by default. Kind of getting back to that. I am Sir Alum. You are.
And I asked how you were doing, but my name is Dorasius Fireheart. How are you? Still.
I am doing fine. I am waiting for a friend of mine.
Why in a cellar? That seems a little weird.
Well, the friend that I am waiting for, he enjoys the drink.
He likes wine?
He likes wine very much, yes. He, maybe a bit too much.
I'm just kind of look at Carl. Carl never said anything about wine. So who's your friend?
Like maybe you might know him. He likes to get around a fair bit. He never really stays in one place, at least not recently. You know, he looked a lot like the friend that you had earlier. He is Lord Athelvin. Do you know this man?
Lord Asshole Vein. No, can't say I do. This is the only friend that I really have. His name's Carl. It's pretty easy to pronounce.
Carl. Very nice to meet you.
Carl just. What do you want with this Lord? No, I'm not gonna say it because it's just mean at this point to both you and I.
Well, if you do not know him, then I do not see why I should tell you of my needs for my friend.
Well, where are you from? What do you do?
I am far off from where I belong. I am from Folk Kingdom. Have you heard of it?
I have almost definitely heard of it. My tribe, they tend to visit you guys sometimes.
He kind of like nods his head with a knowing look, kind of looking you up and down. I have had the displeasure of running into your kind before. You seem more friendly.
Well, you know, I wasn't really allowed on them. I think it was because I was a little too friendly. Yeah. So I'm trying to work on being a little more angry at life. It's not working very well, but I'm really trying.
Well, I hope that we do not meet under those circumstances, because I fear that you would not come out the other side in one piece.
What, you and me?
He kind of like, his smile kind of gets a little wider, kind of the first genuine expression besides the kind of smirk he wields, and you see him kind of like tilt his head down, give you like a little eyebrow raise. I am quite deft with the blade, sir.
Well, I have Carl, so it's basically a 2 versus 1. Pretty sure the numbers are in my favor.
He like he puts the glass down, like raises his hands up daintily, goes, "Oh, Carl. Oh no, please. You are too much."
Carl just let's see, what else is there? So you know my people, I know your people. You're looking for this guy. I definitely don't know that guy.
Definitely do not know that guy.
No, not at all. But let's just pretend for a minute that
hypothetically,
I did know.
let's say that you have met my friend.
That I did know this guy. Is there anything that you would want to have said to him that you could not say because he may or may not be? We don't know because this is hypothetical. He may or may not want to be here for.
Hypothetically, if you know the friend that I am looking for, tell him that my liege, the great Horace Solomon, is making his home available to Lord Athelvin. And if he does not want to appreciate that gesture, then I will have to invite him personally.
Okay. Yes, indeed. That would be a great message if I knew who we were talking about.
It would be very convenient if you knew him and could get that message to him, yes.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I can't help you. I think we would be really good friends. I think it'd be really fun to fight you at some point. So, if you just throw the first punch and... Actually, no. You let me throw the first punch and then we'll get into it. But,
Well, usually my bouts do not last more than a quick jab and then it is over. So we will see if you last longer than that.
I only doubt you could just jab the life out of me. I mean, I've been through a lot. I mean, you see this? You see this? You see all of this? You see this? Just start pulling out all my stuff.
He picks up his wine glass again, taking a sip, kind of ignoring all of your gestures, and turns to you. Go. It looks you are rather adept at getting hit.
Not as much as you would think. It's usually the fat guy that I definitely also don't roll with. Who he takes, I don't know why, I guess it's because he's wider, he takes more. But, I usually come out pretty healthy.
Well, Thorasius Fireheart, I wish you the best, but I shall continue waiting for my friend.
Yes, okay. Well, if you manage to find him, just tell him he might want to change his last name, because it's a little confusing for us people, and it could result in somebody dying. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I found my wine. I'm all good.
Before you go to leave, he kind of raises the glass. He goes, will you please?
Yes, absolutely. This is a Chardonnay 14-7. I don't know the dates.
He just kind of nods along. Until we meet again, Thorasius.
Until we meet again, Ollie, Lord Ollie, Sir Ollie, the Ollie, yeah, whatever your titles. And then I'm walking away.
Okay. Yeah, so you can easily find your way back to the Great Hall where Valorant has been mingling around.
Okay. I will approach Valorant and kind of just chill, just lean back against the wall that I'm assuming is there. If not, I'm just leaning back against the air. So I spoke to your friend.
Go on.
We talked in a lot of hypotheticals, so that was pretty fun. And he said that he was not him, but his, the salamander Solomon guy. Yeah. Uh-huh. He's making your house available, is what he said, and he is inviting you to go. And if you don't go, then little Ollie dude is gonna have to make you go. Is what I'm getting.
Huh. It would almost be worth staying around just for that.
Yeah, I know. He thought he could take me on that, and I was like, man, I could. I mean, not only I, but you could basically kill him in one hit.
I don't know whether that would make anything easier or not, but...
No, it'd probably start a war. But JD's not around, so we can't have that happen. But that was the message that he had for somebody who would know Lord Athelvane, if I knew anybody that knew Lord Athelvane.
I think I understand.
I think I do too. Well, are we ready to... I don't know how funerals go. Are do we leave now, or do we just stay until everybody dies, or?
We're basically done here, Thor. I may try to find the Duke's steward before we leave.
Okay.
You look for Clifford on your way out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go.
Okay. As you guys are kind of making your way out of the Great Hall, kind of just like getting a lay of the land, looking around, as you glance into the parlor that you guys have been kind of put into wait occasionally when you've come to meet the Duke in the past, you see Clifford is in there with a bunch of the different servants that he kind of, is in charge of, kind of like dictating to all of them, not quite noticing you guys from the Great Hall.
So my approach here is going to be to really march at him, and when I get within speaking distance, just start on this like, yes, Mr. Clifford, I really must tell you about the way that our rooms were handled last time. See, there's this matter that I really must, and I'm just going to take his elbow, and I'm not really giving him a lot of choice in just moving to a little more secluded area.
Okay. Yeah, as you like grab his elbow, he's like, yeah, huh? Yes, of course, yes. And kind of goes with you.
And when we're more or less out of earshot of anybody else, just going to turn him to face me and stare into his eyeballs and say, "What's wrong with Braun?"
Well, my lord, his wife just passed, which is quite the traumatic occurrence.
I don't know which of the Golden Arts you think is speaking to you at the moment. But I'm asking you, what is wrong with the Duke?
Intimidation?
Oh, yeah.
I'll flex to add to that.
How we doing, Clifford? Clifford, you poor soul. I'm sorry I roll for you.
I feel sad for all the NPCs you roll for.
My world is just full of meek, like, broken back, spineless people. Okay.
I have no sympathies for your damage rolls.
As you kind of like bear down him a bit more, kind of cutting through the bullshit, more or less, he kind of like nods his head. The Duke has been he's been under quite a lot of stress. The son and his wife and the yellow-eyed man and other aspects of his duties that are stressing him, and usually if I try to prod and push him in a certain direction to keep up with his health, I can get a good response, but he's been getting more secluded and he divulges less to me. So I don't quite know, but his physical state is getting worse.
Worse is an understatement. We've been gone for a week? And he sort of looks at Thor questioningly.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he aged like 3 years, 30 years.
Thor's right. That's not stress, sir.
Again, he hasn't told me much, and I don't want to betray my lord by revealing anything, but he has made frequent visits to the High Temple, and I imagine most of them are for his son, but I hope some of them are for himself. Maybe he's getting some answers there, but I don't know anything more than that.
Clifford, I tell you the truth when I say that my desire for today is for the Duke's long and healthy reign. When do you think he will visit the temple again?
Well, Lord Jarrell is up there, being worked on, I guess is the right term. So he goes to visit every night. I doubt this one will be any different.
We'll be in Krillin for at least the night. Let us know if we can assist.
Well, I hope it goes without saying that both I and the Duke greatly appreciate your concern.
Of course.
Best friends watch out for each other.
Good afternoon. And I'm out.
Yeah, and then I'll like as he's walking away, I'll leave him to walk away. So Clifford, I had one question for you. Who's like the best person to make like a sword holder for this thing? And then I'll present the sword.
He kind of like looks at it and looks at you.
Like, I just, I've been to somebody before, but I didn't know if they were the best or not. So, like, I want to go to a pretty good person,
Well, who did you go to last time?
Okay, fine.
Do you want to do a history check?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, dude, let me just do a freaking intelligence attribute and roll well on it. Oh.
Hey!
Hey.
It is Agnar's Angles and Edges.
It was, Agnor, Angle.
Agnar, of Agnar's Angles and Edges, yes.
Yeah, that's the guy.
He's in the Iron Plaza in the Low City, yes.
Mm-hmm. Is he like the best guy, or is there another guy?
We've outsourced work to him before. He seems very adept at what he does, so I wouldn't see any reason to not recommend him.
Okay. Alright. I just wanted to make sure, since I've kind of upgraded from, just low person in low town to kind of mid person in high town. Just seeing if there's anything I'm missing out on, Okay. Well, I'll see you later, Clifford.
Good afternoon, Thor.
And then I'll, catch up with Valorant.
You guys heading back to... Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I assume we're walking out. But, Lord Valorant, are we going to the temple tonight? Is that what I'm getting?
I think I would like to, Thor. Something's not right with Braun, and it doesn't sit well with me to do nothing and know nothing.
Yeah, it's been bothering me for a while, but I thought it would, hit a certain point and to be alright, because he seemed bad before we went to go kill the yellow-eyed man, and thought maybe that would help if he was dead. Maybe there was something going on there, but it's not getting better.
Oh.
And I mean,
the way he looked today, I think there would be another memorial by the time we returned again.
Yeah, and who's in charge then? Is it Clifford? Is Clifford behind all of this? Is Clifford the source of the...
He's not in the line of succession, I can assure you that.
Do we know that?
I would stake a lot on that.
You don't own a lot.
But now I do. More than
Okay.
you, sir.
Hey, that's true. But that didn't come from much, and I'm still not much, so I'm okay with where I'm at. Anyways, are we going to the temple tonight with JD and Rolly, or are we just going, are we flying solo? Because I'm down for the dynamic duo. I'm ditching Rolly. Our dungeon diving days are over.
I sort of appreciate that, Thor. But why are you ditching Rolly?
Well, me and him, we went through like a whole orc temple together while JD was flirting with Calliope's sister and doing pretty much nothing except for trying to die. So that's where we kind of bonded. But, now we've explored that dungeon and, we've moved on. So now we can be the investigative partners.
You're saying that you're bored of Rolly?
I'm not bored of him. I just, we're not in a creepy lair. We're in a town.
Be that as it may, I think we may as well bring them into the loop.
Okay.
So you guys are gonna head back to the Sliver of the Moon?
Yes. I assumed we all decided we would meet there. And I'm assuming we sent our salamander and cart there as well.
Yeah, if you guys don't dictate anything, Adam will kind of go to wherever you guys usually stay, like set up there. What did Rolly say? Is he gone? He's coming back?
He said it'll
He'll be back, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, you guys would go back to the Sliver of the Moon, where I'm imagining, Jarek, you would be at this point, after your cowfish investigation. So you would see Thor and Valoran entering in, like however you're at the bar, at a table, drinking, singing, whatever you're doing.
I actually would be plying people for information on the best place to hunt cowfish.
Okay. Give me a persuasion check real quick. Fuck. Okay. So the river that runs through, so cowfish are traditionally kind of a freshwater animal. It's very rare that you would find them like out in the open ocean or in like a general ocean area. So the bay that this river lets out to is kind of a mixture between salt and fresh, kind of near the city being a bit more habitable for the cowfish. So right between where the river lets out and the bay kind of opens up is where good cow fishing can be found.
If you're looking at the map, would that be kind of like...
So it would be here and here.
Gotcha.
Calliope probably saw one when she was drowning down the river.
Should have died that day.
Oh, yeah.
Then after having found my information, seeing Thor and Valoran pop in, I'd waddle through the crowd and... How was the Duke? How was his little get-together?
I mean, that was a funeral.
Is this the brothel? Is this
No.
The glistening globe is the brothel.
Yeah, this is the Sliver of the Moon.
Yeah, and the glistening globe's in Hightown.
Yes.
So before we say anything else, I want to indicate a side table or something where we can get some space.
Mm-hmm.
The usual table.
Yeah, that's easily achievable. There's like a small crowd kind of gathered here, kind of like going about the evening business. But, it's a fairly open tavern.
Well, the King of Giles is here, which accounts for some of the additional guard. And Braun looks like death.
What do you mean?
He's wasting away.
How old is he?
Braun?
Yeah.
He's middle-aged. I mean, he's probably like 50s, 60s, you would guess.
Around Jarek's age,
maybe,
then?
yeah, maybe older than middle-aged, yeah.
I mean, JD, he looks like that. I'm assuming what that old lady looked like that told your fortune.
Ooh, she was not great. Not great on the eyes. I don't know, did you guys maybe getting in useful information?
Well,
all we know is that he visits the temple very regularly, including likely tonight. And one of Count Salamon's toadies is here. He's intent on trying to threaten me.
Oh, do you look around? Anyone within earshot?
No, sorry, I'm messing with stuff. Yeah, you're basically alone at this point.
Yeah, do you need us to,
no, JD, I already went through this.
Oh, good man, Thor. Smart. Good.
No, we won't strike first, at least not under these circumstances. But if he wants to threaten me and throw his weight around, well, we've dealt with that situation before.
It's true.
Okay, well, if you need to, I have a little something, just discreet, it's clean.
JD, I'm not going to lie. Seems like you'd probably know. I mean, the guy looks like he's like 300 years old. He's an elf, by the way. Or at least a half elf. I don't know how things work. But he seems pretty freaking old.
Meanwhile, Braun looks like he's 300 years old and still human.
That is very true. Can we just kind of say that we knew at what time of night Duke Braun goes? Because, like, it's very broad to say he goes at night.
I mean, that's basically the information you gathered.
Okay.
I just saw you have a map for Glisten or the
Sliver of the Moon.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's easy enough. We could go see how he's doing. I don't know what we could do ourselves, but if we could offer any assistance to him,
I said as much to his man Clifford. I just would like the opportunity to speak with the Duke ourselves in a less formal setting.
Yeah, I think we just need to know. It's not that if we can help or not, we just need to know what's going on with him. Because there's something, like, he probably has to know that there's something wrong with him. You don't just wake up one day and suddenly you're 30 years older.
Derek, I said this to Thor as we were on our way here. I think we may have another funeral by the time we come back, with the way things are looking.
Oh shit, that's not good. We're good with Duke Braun.
Yeah, we're best friends. Well, maybe not you.
Well, he likes me well enough, Thor.
Only because you didn't give him his own wine as a gift.
Well, at least I know he would have enjoyed it, Thor.
Well, anyways, what did you guys do?
So, we learned about this poisonous medicinal fish.
Mm-hmm.
And, Rolly and I were thinking of going and hunting some of them.
So you're hunting fish. Meanwhile, there's a funeral. The Duke looks like he's dying. Did you even turn in our bounty?
Oh, yeah.
Where's that money at?
Jericho, I have to search around for a second and then dawn on him. Oh, yeah, they're going to deliver it here at some point today.
Did you ask Marie?
No, I was enjoying some libations and talking to the personnel. She didn't mention anything to me when I bought my first ale, though, so I'm not sure if it's arrived.
I can go ask.
You're gonna go up to Marie and ask if the bounty's been delivered?
Yes.
As you approach, she kind of like recognizes you, goes, "Oh, Thor, welcome back."
Hello, Marie. How are you?
I'm doing great. Adam's really started to fit in here. He's a good champ, good lad. Everything's going well. How's your adventures going?
Good. I got a new weird magical super long sword. Killed a guy for it, but he had a bounty on him. Actually links into the reason I'm here. Apparently, JD, everybody can know JD just by, but he had our bounty sent here, or at least the reward. I just wanted to check and make sure that hasn't come in yet.
I've heard no such thing. Usually, the bounties are delivered by a courier, and they will seek out the person who requisitioned it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that nobody else, came and took it or claimed to be us. Because I know you know who we are, and we know who you are. But it's a pretty hefty bounty, so I don't want to let somebody else slip away with it.
That's very understandable. Do you need any ale or food or refreshments, a room?
Has Jarek not talked to you about a room or anything?
No, but your quartermaster, Adam, mentioned that you may be staying here, so I have reserved some rooms for you if you need them.
Adam, the key essential member to our team. I really appreciate that. We will be needing those rooms, and I will, of course, take some ale. And do you guys have bacon?
We certainly could get some going, yes.
Okay, if you get a couple of strips or like 4 maybe. I think Rolly might want some, and then we have to feed our salamander. Yeah, he gets very emotional about bacon. Anyways, just let us know if that bounty comes in. But I know you said they'd look for us, but if they don't see us or they don't find us, just let us know.
I certainly will. I'll get that ale going for you, Thor.
All right, thank you, Marie. And Adam.
Adam's in the back, but she'll pass it along.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so you are, all back at the table again.
Well, I guess if we want to run up to the temple and try and catch the Duke while he's up there, that might be good. And Rolly, if we can catch some cowfish tomorrow, maybe Valoran, we could offer its blood to the households and see if maybe they can make a, medicine out of it.
Why not?
Do you think they would have tried that already?
I don't know.
How did you how did you find out about these cowfish?
So, we poked around the harbor earlier. I distracted everyone. Rolly was very good at pulling information out of people, and
Yes.
You didn't stab anybody in the knee, did you?
Why would I have done that?
I don't know. We've done it before to try to get information out of people.
That was an interrogation under duress with a limited time. These are normal people in a pub. What the hell is the matter with you, Thor?
What do you mean, what the hell is the matter with me? Who goes and shanks a person in the knee in the first place?
who would have done that, Thor?
So as you guys are talking amongst yourselves, you see probably like a early teenage boy come into the tavern. He is dragging this kind of large sack behind him, and you hear, kind of consistent jangling coming from it. And the guy gets it through the door, is like, Golden Hearts, Jarek, Dissel, Thor, Rassius, Fireheart, Lord, Valoran Athelvain, and Rolly Halfbeard.
Yeah, that's us. I'll stand up and I'll come get the bag.
Okay, he just kind of gestures at it. Alright. And then just walks out.
What's your name?
Why does it matter?
It's probably Porter. Is that our money?
I assume so. I just told it, bring it to you.
Well, thank you, Porter.
Can I take a look at inside
The bag?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's full of gold.
So, you just brought a small fortune worth of gold. You guess so. And it's just you. No security, no nothing.
I mean, the king's in town, so if anyone tries to rob me, I just go, help! And then guards. It's pretty simple.
So what do you do when the king is not in town?
Then I puff my chest up a bit. Look a little burly. What? Can I go?
A little birdie, more like, but yes. Fly away.
Your name first.
And here, for your services. Little birdie. And give him a nice shiny copper.
But what is your name?
Grabs it. He's like, I just delivered a small fortune to you through the dangerous streets of Kraylin, and you're gonna give me a copper.
It was quite attitude, too.
You didn't kill the bounty, did you?
Alright, I have more deliveries.
What's your name?
He just like looks at you and then just walks out.
The next time, give somebody your name, you'll get more of a tip.
You just see the fucking copper coin come flying back into the tavern. But yes, your 1,500 gold has been delivered.
Why did we have to escalate that? I needed to know his name in case he stole money.
Alright, well then we'll go ahead and count it then. 1, 2.
Episode 15.
And that's where we're gonna end tonight's session.
Where is Talmian with us?
He is not. Usually, if you guys leave him be, he's going to stable the wagon and then stay with the wagon. So he's probably in the stables of the Sliver of the Moon.
All right, I'm gonna go to him while Rolly counts those coins.
Okay. So yeah, you just step outside, and the stable is kind of like a lean-to attached to the western side of the building. There's various kind of like, beasts of burden and horses and mules and whatnot. The wagon's been like unhitched of its animals and kind of like pushed into a corner. You see the bright kind of golden heart symbol on the side of it. Adam seems to be kind of sitting on the driver's seat of the wagon, and he has one of the like herbalist books that Rolly and Jarek have been reading through open, and he's kind of looking through that.
Talmian.
Oh, yes, my lord, and he like goes to close the book.
Is it still light out, or is it?
No, it's evening, almost night at this point. It's getting pretty late.
Have you been to visit your mother yet?
No, I wanted to have the payment to leave with her before I went and visited her.
Of course. Come with me.
Sets the book down, kind of like glancing in the back of the wagon. He's like, okay, he's sleeping. And then he hops out and begins to follow you.
So I'm going to lead him into the tavern and walk back up to the group and say, I figured on 30 this month for our employee here. What do the rest of you say? Any objections?
30 and 1 copper.
30 silver's pretty good.
It's gold, Jarek. You know it's gold.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'm surprised your stomach has not burned more calories for you yet.
No, I'm a very generous and kind benefactor, of course. And he'll slide the 6 gold from him up. No. 15. 15. Shit, I don't even know math right now.
What are you doing right now? What is happening?
Jarek, roll it out. Just not kidding.
Give me 500 gold.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We just take 30 out of what we just got, right? So we have 1470.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So, Talion, you've mentioned your sick mother once or twice.
Yes, my lord.
What is she sick with? Do you know? Has a physician seen her?
Well, it's pretty natural for mortal races that live quite long. Their minds begin to go just like humans' minds would go in their older age, but we are inflicted with long lives, so even longer elder years. So dementia is what the word's been tossed around, but really her mind's just kind of going.
Not so much in the dwarven race. We're a bit stouter than these fellows. Our minds are very sturdy.
Yes, if you came down with a dementia, who would know the difference? So tell me, and just a fact of her advanced age, then.
Yeah, and I see it only right that she took care of me and I take care of her. It seems to be the right thing to do.
I see. Well, here you are then.
Kind of takes. He's like, I truly, I don't want to make a big show of it, but being part of the Golden Hearts is a very exciting endeavor, and I appreciate the camaraderie that we all share. Jarek.
Yeah, yes, Adam. So glad to have you. I will say I appreciate that you milk Sparky every day.
Don't know if
that reminds me, when milking, drainage, seepage, and weepage, and leakage all sort of rhyme with porridge as well.
He just looks immensely confused. Kind of looks back over to Valoran. Well, I just wanted to express my gratitude, my lord, and I hope that I can facilitate serving you better in the future.
I've got something you can facilitate. Go watch
My
the
lord,
temple for Duke Braun's arrival, and then tell us when he shows.
Oh, okay. Certainly that I can certainly handle that. I will go with the High Temple. Yes.
As far as I know.
I will go keep an eye, and then I shall return if I see him enter. Is that what you desire?
It is. Thank you, Talmian.
Yes, my lord. And then he goes. Oh.
Just quickly, thought your name was Adam.
Yes, it's Adam Talmian. Talmian is my last name.
You know you can just call him Adam, right?
We're his employers, not his drinking buddies.
I beg to differ. We were buddies drinking just this morning.
Then you can call him Adam.
Oh.
But
Adam just begins slowly stepping backwards out of the situation.
Valoran, I understand that we come from different backgrounds, but you know, we shared the same campsite at the road. We fought in perilous times together. Lighten up a little bit.
Is there any other point of etiquette that one of you would like to criticize?
oh my god, reach up there with both hands and pull the stick out of your ass, Valoran.
Wait, although I actually had a serious question on that note. It wasn't about etiquette, it was more about something that the man said. Did you like, were you like a crazy drunk or something?
Me? Oh, what that guy, yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Okay, because like, yeah, he was saying that you really enjoyed alcohol and you were such a wine connoisseur or dinosaur, I don't know.
Oh, we're still in. I'm sorry. That would be really funny. He just drops everything at that moment.
He's like, yeah, I don't fucking know what that guy was on about. Everyone's like, who is this man?
So, Nathan, do I have any clue do I have a reputation for being a
No,
ulcer?
it was more or less him just kind of like jabbing.
Okay, just looking for something to. All right.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like calling someone a milk drinker.
I was so confused for a second. I was like, what's happening?
we're back.
Okay.
So Valorant in character says, No, I just idle jabs and insults from a man who doesn't know who I am.
Okay. I was just making sure, because, like, you know, you're sometimes like, you know, I don't drink, so I was just making sure you didn't, like, go crazy when you get super drunk or anything.
No.
Okay.
At least not that I've ever been told.
I mean, Thor, I'm sure Valorant would be drunk off of 3 glasses. It's not...
JD, why do you always try to antagonize people?
No, it's... Valorant, have you ever had the constitution for a drinking contest?
We're about to see the Duke.
I mean, it's only a few.
Let me know when Talmian has returned. And
I
I'm
will.
Gonna
No
go find the room.
Let you know when Adam has returned. Absolutely.
Are you guys seriously going to have a drinking contest right now?
Jerick is already like halfway through his mug. No. No?
I'm not
So-
drinking.
So Valorant departs the table, heading upstairs to find the room, leaving you 3 alone for the current time.
Mr. Cranky Pants woke up on the wrong side of his cot this morning.
I think maybe he's just a little stressed about, you know, how we did my thing, and my thing was a little distraction from his big thing. You know, because he's got to pay the Piper or kill the Piper. I don't know.
The good news is, Thor, is that one day he'll be dead. And then his problem won't seem so important to him anymore, now will it?
Do you just talk about Valorant dying? Or are you talking about somebody else dying?
Of course, we're all going to die. That's the... I wish people would like...
No, Rolly, I won't die.
Well, true, you have probably entered into a pact with some sort of dark demon belly, and you might live forever as a thrall in the netherworld, but the rest of us will probably die.
Wait,
I'm
those
just
people...
saying, what we think is important now, just sometimes we should lighten up and relax a little bit. Let's see if we can get the boy to relax.
Wait. When I talked to the wise woman of my village during some marital problems, they had told us that it's all about meeting someone in the middle. Maybe we should be more like Valorant, and then when he least expects it, go back to our usual self and see if that can maybe shift him into, you know, a common way of thinking. He's a noble. He lived a life of, you know, propriety and pomp.
Okay, then let me practice. No. Yes. Tell me when dinner is ready, Jack.
Lord Halfbeard, you are masterful. And Jerick will go into some...
I'm also getting drunker as we go along. Right?
Okay.
What is wrong?
And actually, I would love to practice noble etiquette with Rolly as we drink. I'm not sure how much consumption would be involved by the time Adam comes back, but if that's an option, I think that's what Jarek would do.
Both of you give me a straight charisma check.
Who's that, Jarek?
Jarek and you, Rolly.
Why can I never find what I'm looking for? Yeah. Like, ever. There we go. Oh.
Okay. The drinking progresses much quicker than the etiquette does. So it mostly just kind of turns into, oh my gracious lord. And then a few hiccups, giggles,
You guys just sound like assholes.
Thor, I am 100% prepared to meet with the Duke tonight.
I don't think you're meeting with the Duke tonight.
Sir Fireheart, how dare ye?
Hear ye, Sir Fireheart is...
I would say you could get to Hightown, but you probably would make it to about Middletown and fall off the bridge.
We're golden... golden hearts. They'll let us through.
Yeah, I know. They'll let you through one side, you just won't make it to the other side.
I've got it. Let's take him to the Glistening Globes. That's closer to the high temple.
You want to take the Duke?
No, not the Duke. No, Valoran.
Valoran. Yes. Has he ever been to an establishment of the sort?
Something tells me it does not seem like his cup of non-alcoholic wine.
As you all are talking amongst each other, Marie kind of comes up to the table, kind of addressing Thor. She goes, "Oh, you having a good evening?" And as she's talking to you, Thor, she's kind of like deftly grabbing the cups of ale away from Rolly and Jarek, kind of collecting them, but keeping her attention on you as she gathers them.
Yes, Marie, I am having a great time. I appreciate the bacon that was brought. I'm sure the salamander, I think he's asleep right now, but because he's not screaming. But he seems pretty happy.
Well, I just wanted to let you all know that we are doing a special service now that it's reaching near night, where we will bring the drinks to your room if you want to retire to there, just to get a bit more comfortable.
Seems like a very solid plan, and I appreciate you letting us know. I think JD and Rolly and I are getting ready to head up.
Go to the Glistening Globes. Would you like to, Marie?
No, we're heading up because we're waiting for Adam. He doesn't know we're going to the Glistening Globes, so he will come back to an empty room. So let's go upstairs.
Marie.
That's a capital idea. We should get Talvian to come with us to the Glistening Globes.
Marie, thank you so much.
Marie. I need your strongest spirit sent to Lord Valoran. He was very thirsty, and I forgot to mention it earlier.
Of course, Jarek, I will make sure that gets up to Lord Valoran.
We're all friends here. You can call him Valoran.
Despite us all being very good friends, I do address my patrons as they ask to be addressed.
Also, Marie, if you see Adam, can you please send him up to our rooms? We're waiting for him. Alright, thank you, Marie. Come on, guys, get out. I don't know why this is so freaking... Why did I sit on the inside? Move your fat ass.
So you guys have been given...
What?
Drunk. Like, lightly drunk, stumbling. Not fully inebriated, of course, but, a little not entirely steady.
I want to be singing Jarek's latest song.
the mermaid.
Okay. So you guys have been given 2 rooms to stay in. We'll go with the farthest to the west and the one that Valorant is in. So how are you guys splitting? What are you guys doing? Where are you sitting? That kind of stuff.
I'm shoving the 2 drunks in a room.
Okay. So they're there. Okay. So what are you going to be doing to pass the time?
Rhyming porridge.
Okay.
And the whole ridge? No, that doesn't work.
No, it could with your genius. You could make it work.
And then we met upon the Whore's Ridge. Yes.
Oh, you absolute bard. Well, there's. But no, then we would have the.
Thor, where are you ending up?
Can I take? I'm assuming since they're drunk and being like 12-year-olds, it wouldn't be hard to like either if it's out in the cart or not, go get JD's pack and search for the Crown of Memories.
Yeah. Well, Jarek, where's the pack?
Typically, Jarek keeps all of his stuff with him. On that note, I probably... Did we divide up the money, first of all? Was that...
I don't know, did we?
We can worry about that during this next week.
Yeah.
Well, because I think in that case, Jarek would have put all the money in the top of the bag, and being unable to really carry it, maybe you've just been like, Thor, here, take this up for me, please.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep it in my room.
And
Probably
then
safer.
give Thor his entire pack.
Cool.
Okay. So you would have the Crown of Memories then.
Okay. I'd like to go into my room with Valorant. As I enter, I will address him. So as you may have heard, they are drunk. I just shoved them in the room, shut the door. I still think we're probably gonna be the dynamic duo, even though you didn't want to. I don't know that I want to bring them to the Duke.
So when you come in, he's sitting on the end of that bed, like with his elbows on his knees in that sort of hangover kind of way, just focused on this item of jewelry that's on his wrist. And when you come in, he kind of looks up and just sort of gives a rueful smile and hangs his head and says, I heard.
Oh god, are you drunk too?
No.
Okay.
No, Thor, I'm not. Let's nip that rumor right now. I'm not a drunk.
No, I wasn't saying you were drunk, and you just were stooped over, and you seem like the silent drunk type, so you could just stare at me for probably, like, if you were drunk, I feel like you would just stare at somebody for a really long time.
It's been a long week. That's all.
Well, I stole JD's pack, although it was really given to me, but I can say I stole it. It makes me a little cooler. And I have this. I'll hold up the crown. So, either I can use it, or you can use it. But, I figure, our lives aren't always the best. So it's nice to maybe remember a better time.
Is that nostalgia, Thor? I'm surprised.
I mean, my mama's gone, and I haven't used it yet, but ever since we got it, I've thought about, looking back, seeing how good it was, you know. But also I thought about using it in circumstances where we could observe something that maybe we didn't see, like meetings with the Duke. But then I think, you know, I'm not very good at noticing things before or after things happen, so I don't know that it'd be very good for me to use.
I haven't met with the Duke that many times. No, Thor, thank you, but feel free to use the crown yourself. I'm revisiting memories of better times just makes me think about how far things have fallen.
Well, for me, it at least gives me something to fight for, or at least know that I'm following in good footsteps.
Well, I haven't forgotten yet. Besides that, I at least want to keep my wits about me. That Sir Alum is not going to be satisfied just after your wine cellar meeting.
Yeah. Yo, screw that guy. He seems like a total douche.
I think it's a requirement for working for Count Solomon. Broly thinks I'm bad. He has no idea what's coming.
Yeah, we're going to a whole kingdom of douche. Oh no. Okay, well, I'll leave you to your, whatever.
Just waiting, Thor.
And I will, sit in the bed, put my sword by my bed. Then I will put on the crown of memories. And I will use it.
What are you, seeking?
Just like a, kind of like I told Valoran, just like a good day where, you know, I spent some time with my mom, and, you know, we were just laughing, having a good time. There wasn't like a care in the world, so I was probably like really young. Just like remembering the better days when you didn't know as much, you didn't care as much. I still don't care that much, but
yeah. So as you put the crown on, you kind of like think back to more of like your childhood. That kind of white, tenderly fog kind of creeps over your vision, kind of like surrounding you and pulling you in. And as it pulls back, you are brought back to the Surbat Mountains where you'd grown up, the kind of high elevation, harsh elements, but a set of where, you know, a human being would probably like fear that. You almost embrace it with a bit of comfort and kind of excitement, you know, being so used to functioning in that environment. And you are called back to a memory where you had just gotten out of boulder school for the day, and you're racing through the snow back to the tent that Kuztar and your mother like lived out of, and you're running back, and you begin explaining to your mother all the cool things you did in boulder school, and how you were talking about the Rocky Talkies, and you know how it could really help out humanity if only they could understand the implements of the Rocky Talkie. And she kind of like, you know, lovingly is going about her daily duties, and you know, nodding along and laughing with you and making little offhand jokes and whatnot, kind of just giving you a nice time to relax and remember your mother.
And that's how I would like to use it, and that's all I got for it. And then I'll just take it off, put it back under the sack of heaping gold that hopefully doesn't break it, and I will cuddle my sword and I'll go to sleep.
You going to sleep?
Oh, well, I guess I'll just rest. Whatever.
Okay. So, about probably like 2 hours have passed since you let Adam leave, and you know you had a drinking contest and you came upstairs. Eventually, as like the tavern's kind of died down, you're reaching maybe like 10 or 11 at night at this point, where, you know, the streets are kind of emptying, people are finally falling asleep. You hear the pitter-patter of like a tiny individual making their way up the stairs. Eventually you hear like a and then you hear, Lord Valoran,
So I've spent the whole 2 hours just sitting in that same way on the bed and really waiting just for somebody to show up at the door. So jump up pretty quick and yank him inside.
Okay.
Whoever it is.
Yeah, it's Adam. You go ahead and pull Adam in. He's like, "Hi, the Duke is in High Temple. He wanted me to let you know, and I'm letting you know."
Very good. That'll be all.
I will be in the wagon then.
As you were.
Okay. And then he leaves, kind of giving you a little nod, Thor.
Good job, Adam. Get ready.
I suppose.
All right.
And I'll gather myself and actually we'll go to Rolly and Jarek's door and give it 2 quick thundering knocks.
The response would be very loud flatulence, a few stumbled steps, and Jarek will pop it open. Oh yes, Lord Arthurvane. How may we be of service tonight?
Rolly, you're muted. Nice try.
Thor and I are going.
Into our chambers, Lord.
Thor and I are going. Are you two going?
No, don't let them go. Why would you even extend that offer?
How could we deny such a generous
Token! It's a token that was generous.
Because, Thor, if we are ambushed, I want to see them die first.
JD always dies first. It doesn't matter if he's drunk or not.
You are a man of wise words, Lord Valorant, yes.
What does that even mean? Why would you wish to see us die?
I have to be going.
Yeah,
Master Halfbeard, if you will.
I'll just slowly close that door.
Oh, that was strange, now wasn't it?
Really, if we get up to them afterwards, we might be able to go hunt that damn fish.
Why wait?
Oh no.
Gonna drunkenly hunt a fish.
We should go do it right now.
No, really, we gotta give our party members some support. And we're going to a temple. And Jarek will give him that kind of drunken sock on the shoulder. That's your place.
Pretty sure we've already left.
Oh, it's not technically my temple. It's a temple, but not mine.
Oh, come on, Rolly. Let's grab some ales on the way out and try and catch up.
Yes. But don't you think it's time that we moved on to whiskey?
Yeah. Oh.
Ale was so yesterday. Is it?
Can I procure a small, pouch of whiskey, or like a small water skin of whiskey?
You certainly can procure one, and I've got my flask that Thor gave me that still has whiskey in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is getting a little old. We should get rid of it before it goes bad.
Agreed. Bottoms up. Drain it out and
Yeah.
head
Okay.
towards Head towards the guys.
Lord Athelbane, we are coming.
So Thor and Valorant, as you are making your way out of the tavern and kind of up the street, you may make it a few hundred feet before you hear the tavern door kind of like burst open again. The light from the inside kind of like cascading onto the cobblestone street. You see Rolly and Jarrett kind of like holding each other up, kind of like bumbling into each other, begin like making their way down the street towards you.
Do we tell the gate people to not let them through?
Thor, you were right. I've made a mistake. I don't know.
I tried. I really did. I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault. That's mine. I don't know why I keep expecting better.
I think if we stay far enough ahead of them, they will eventually lose sight of us. And we can maybe tell the guards at the gate to not let drunk people on the bridge. That is more what I'm concerned about. Rolly, I imagine, may still have his armor on. I don't know. They're very drunk. Some could have come off.
Well, we'll undoubtedly get there first because I'm not waiting.
Me neither, and they're both short as all hell, and we can walk way faster than they can.
So Rolly and Jarrett are trying to keep up with them?
I would think, following.
For the experience, I'm still kind of half convinced we should go hunt fish, actually.
So Valorant and Thor give me constitution checks, and Rolly and Jarrett give me constitution saving throws with disadvantage.
Double nat 20's coming up. Alright.
Oh, wow! Good shit, Jarrett. It all comes down to Rolly. Holy fuck! So, Valorant and Thor, you're not exhausted, but it's getting late in the night, you haven't slept yet, but you're like trying to kind of pick up your pace, trying to kind of lose them. And son of a gun, every time you look back, you don't know how they're doing it. Maybe there's some like energy well deep inside of them spurred forth by alcohol, but Rolly and Jarrett, even like bouncing back and forth from building to building like a pinball, is still keeping the distance with you, only about 100 or so feet behind you.
Lord Athelbane! Lord Asmiliath!
How far away are we from the bridge?
Maybe like 10-15 minutes.
Lord Valorant, I will sprint.
I'm not going to run from those two.
I'm really just hoping they'll try to run and fall, and then they just won't be able to get up.
I'll let you try it.
Let's do the same rolls again. That is incredible.
You want another one from me, even if I'm not?
Yeah, go for it. Okay, so we got 11 from the drunks. Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
So Thor, you like try and really get after it, but Valorant, who's kind of like half-heartedly keeping pace behind you, you've now created like a conga line where it's Thor and then Valorant, and then a few hundred feet back is Rolly and Jarrett still trundling drunkenly after you.
Don't you have a horse or something?
I think at this point, I'm going to stop
Okay.
and wait for them to catch up.
Okay.
Guys, wait up!
Yeah, we've got him in our sights.
Come on,
So Thor,
Rolly.
you would...
Yeah, I'd stop.
So you would all gather back together again.
Why were you running?
We were walking. You're just short.
Thor, that was me.
Puke and rally, puke and rally.
Okay, let's go get the Duke.
You guys are not fit to meet the Duke right now. You may actually trip and kill him.
But the Lord invited us to see the Duke.
His wife's funeral is happening right now, you remember?
Yes.
And he's not expecting to see us at the temple tonight. It will be a surprise.
Why, why were you going to surprise the Duke at a temple for his dead? What? Why are we going there?
Have a more private conversation with him.
Make sure he's okay.
Do you need us to make a distraction?
We can be distracting.
No. I need you to pull yourselves together.
Or go home. That's also an option. Go home. Or go fish a cow. I don't know. Whatever you're doing.
Are we fishing?
Well, I mean, it's over by the river. We gotta cross the bridge anyways.
Feel free.
Rolly, let's go get the medical fish, and we'll bring it to the Duke.
Should we do it with dynamite, like I suggested?
We can't buy dynamite, it's already dark.
Somebody will have some.
Well, there, I can do some things.
Or
Well,
Yeah, I know.
you can do some things, I could do some things too, and the two of us doing things together could
and I'm
possibly result in getting the fish. And wait, where did they go?
Okay, I think this is probably a fitting time. We'll bring this session to an end.
What have we done?